everybody. My name is Rocky Hardy, and if you're here, then you know that this is an Impossible Coin anime episode. I don't know where this is going to end up, but if you're here, I'm happy for you. We're going to recount the experience of us watching anime over the past month or so. Mm-hmm. We didn't do one last month. However, we sort of did. We did an episode in collaboration with Chat of the Wild, where we talked a little bit about the stuff that we're watching and how we felt about that. So if you want to check that out, check them out. Tegan is a friend of Chat of the Wild. I'm pretty sure she's better poised to tell you where to find them. Teeks?
Yeah, I think the anime episode came out as what they call a side quest, which is a special Patreon bonus episode. And so you'll find it at their Patreon, which is patreon.com/chatofthewild. Mm. Wow! Their podcast about the Legend of Zelda series. And we just finished Tears of the Kingdom. Short thoughts were here. Longer thoughts will be there. The longest thoughts are on our Twitch.
Yeah, that probably sounds right. That sounds correct.
The longer thoughts and the initial reaction and timeline episode will be coming eventually.
Oh,
Specific to here. We're doing that here.
Mm.
We're going to recap and then we're going to redo it. Because Nintendo's cowards. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't sweat it.
Nintendo is cowards.
Put down my tombstone.
Yeah. But Tegan, we are not here currently to discuss the cowardice of Nintendo, but I'm sure there will be time.
No, we're here instead to discuss the cowardice of me.
Your personal cowardice.
Yeah, and also anime.
Okay, fair enough.
Here's the problem with fall anime. We have this problem every year, right? Mm-hmm. Categorically, the best 2 seasons of anime, right, are fall and winter.
Sure. Yeah.
Because that's when everybody's inside. It's cold and awful and rainy and like no one wants to go outside. And so you stay inside and you watch anime. And so that's where they put all the good things. There are so many good anime this season. It's almost unfortunate. And the worst thing is I know there's going to be more good anime next season. But the amount of stuff that is genuinely good this season so far makes summer feel like real weak sauce.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like, do we even need to watch anime in the summer? I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah, I hear that.
Maybe we take summer off every summer.
I mean, if we do that and like we just catch up on stuff that's fun to us, I think that's fine. I don't mind that.
Shrug emoji.
Also, to be fair, I watched a lot of One Piece this summer, so like I had a great time.
You did. You watched so much One Piece this summer.
Man. And let me see. What else did I watch? Oh yeah, well, Bleach, 1,000 Year Blood War, Core 2 was fun in some ways. So there's that. And JJK season 2 came back, and like Hidden Inventory was a good time, but that was like near the end. So like I don't know how much that counts.
I also don't know how much that counts. And where we are in season 2, I'm just getting more and more nervous, especially because last month I finished, like canonically officially finished season 1. I only, like by the time we were recording in July or in August, I only had the last 4 episodes, which is like the baseball episode. And then like 2 other like goofy episodes, and that was it.
Well, like, okay, hold on. I want to know what you think about the baseball episode.
The baseball episode was fun.
Okay.
I think the setup for it was good, where they were like, yeah. So like the baseball episode starts with them being like, oh, we should cancel the inter like contest sort of thing, because like 6 of Sakuna's fingers got stolen, and like a bunch of people died, I guess. Do we still want to do this? And all the students were like, yeah. I mean, if people are able to rob us, then like we should get stronger faster. And the fastest way to get stronger is to fight your friends, right?
Yeah.
And Gojo was like, yeah, all right. And then they put all the like options, all the lots in like a bucket for like what the next event was going to be. Because they were like, we're doing the one-on-one battles, right? And Gojo was like, nah, I didn't feel like it. We put them all in the thing. And if one-on-one battles is what you pull out, then like that's what you do. And they pulled out baseball.
Oh, man.
And they were just like, yep, everybody gets to play baseball. And I'm like, there are not enough players to play baseball. How are they? gonna play baseball. And the way they played baseball is Mekamaru became a pitching machine.
Right.
Hilarious. And also whoever is in the outfield, there's only one person in the outfield and they get to use their curse techniques. And that's it. That's baseball.
I mean, that sounds fair.
Yeah, and otherwise it's just baseball.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody has goofy superpowers. And also Gojo is just wearing like a regular button up and pants instead of his silly school uniform. Like, I don't know, it was fun. It felt very like, you could tell me that Stephanie Meyer, writer of Twilight, saw this in the manga and went, I'm gonna add that into Twilight as like a way to show off everyone's superpowers, but also break the tension of the story, and I would have believed it. You know? Because that's what it did. It's
surprising how much more likely it is that Gege actually just watched Twilight and says, I could do that.
I could do that, but better. The answer was yes.
Yeah.
It was so goofy.
Mm-hmm.
But it was fun, you know? I've never seen a more low stakes game of baseball with like higher skill levels.
Yeah, I hear that.
But yeah, I am sitting solidly on I have favorites.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not allowed to have favorites right now.
Who are your favorites?
My favorite is like Rocky, you called it. My favorite is the curse speech user.
Oh yeah.
He's so good.
He's a great guy. Love that guy.
He's just so instead of because his words literally have power. Like he's just using what is it? Command.
Right.
The D&D spell. Like that's all he does. He says a short sentence and like the energy that he puts behind that command like compels people to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But at great physical detriment to his own body because he's forcing the curse technique like through his vocal cords and his mouth.
Right.
And so if he uses it too much, he's just like it's like he shreds his vocal cords and he just can't talk anymore.
Right.
Until he heals. And that's wild to me. But like also as someone who is like a classically trained singer, I get it. I understand entirely what that's like.
Is it as wild as the fact that he just speaks in like fish because he doesn't want to accidentally trigger his technique?
That's so silly. That's the silliest thing I think it could ever be, honestly. Like the way that he's just like, I don't know what the language is yet. I'm trying to figure it out. I don't want to look it up because I'm sure someone's already crafted like the guide to what each thing means, you know?
Right. Yeah.
But like I've got the general gist of like which ones are positive, which ones are negative, which ones are neutral. And there has to be one that's like sarcasm.
Right.
You know? Because like he'll just do like a look and say one of the fish, and I'm just like, that was sarcastic. I don't know what he said, but it was sarcastic.
Yeah. Oh, there is actually. I have so Toge has a list of safe words.
Amazing.
One is shake, which
Shake.
is salmon, and it's used for affirmation.
Mm-hmm.
Fish flakes or okaka is used for negation and is usually negative.
Mm-hmm.
Kombu or kelp is used as a greeting. Takana is used to show concern or worry, or to say, I'm on it.
Mm-hmm.
Sujiko, or salmon roe, is to say, well, or my, which I think is the one that you're referring to.
Yeah.
Ikura, or caviar, is used as an expletive or a curse.
That makes sense to me. That tracks 100%. I don't know why, it just does. Don't ask questions.
Mentaiko, or Mentako, maybe? It's spicy cod roe and is used motivationally.
Mm-hmm.
Suna, or suna, is used to call attention to something or look.
Mm-hmm.
And sunamayo is used as general talk, like do something about this. Everything else is different.
Tuna mayo! Fix this!
So he's like, Suna Maya! Yeah, that's what he does.
I would like to know, I want the flashback episode. We're not going to get it unless he dies, I know it.
Yeah, right, classic.
But I want the flashback episode where we figure out how he figured out these were the safe words. You know? Because like, there are literally thousands of words. that you could say.
Mhm.
But because Japanese only has 46 sounds, so like with a limitation of 46 sounds,
Mhm.
how do you figure out which words are the safe words when a number of these words are also other words? You
Mhm.
know?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, but
They're
I'm
all
interested.
food. They're
They
all
are all
food.
food.
It's wild. It's
Uh,
so funny to me.
I wonder. So there is something that is mentioned according to Volume Zero,
Mhm,
which is where the movie takes place, or the events that the movie contains take place.
mhm.
He is listed as the best cook out of all the first years. And he also likes to watch mukbangs, and apparently it takes about half a year for him to understand his words entirely. And it's possible, since his favorite food is also tuna mayo onigiri, and food is like a special interest for him, that
Mhm.
those are potentially safe for other reasons, like personal emotional reasons.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Mhm.
That is cool.
Mhm.
That's a cool like workaround and
Mhm.
also explanation. I like it. Do it again. Oh
No,
my
yeah,
god.
yeah, Toge's
Delightful.
fucking great, actually.
What a time. But yeah, he's so good.
Mm.
That's my favorite character. I don't have favorites. If anything happens to him, I will cry.
I hear that. That makes some sense.
He's just so silly. Like, I don't know. I
I
understand. I now understand more though about on TikTok when they were doing the Disney princess like ships. I get
Oh,
it.
right.
I get it.
Okay, so like, hold on. So, because I remember there were a few of these, like Sukuna Cinderella,
Yeah.
which was like a very much like, what the fuck? And then like you stare at it for a second, and you're like, oh wait, hold on,
Yeah.
wait a
It's
minute.
because they're like the beginnings. They're
Mhm.
the key, the most powerful in their franchises. Like
Mhm.
Cinderella is the center of the Disney princess brand.
Right.
Like she was the first like wildly successful movie of the Disney like renaissance, you know? She's a
Mhm.
moneymaker in the
Mhm.
same way that like Skuna is the most powerful of the demons. Like
Right. And everyone just wants a piece of what Sukuna was capable of. Same thing with
mhm.
like Cinderella and like well, Disney chasing Cinderella's success.
Mhm.
Yeah. Also, I have softened my position on Nanami X Tiana.
Okay.
I thought like the lines that they were drawing were kind of silly, and they are kind of silly, but you know, and I think it's
I mean,
fine.
all the lines that are being drawn are kind of silly, but that's the point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I forgot who they shipped. Oh yeah, Gojo with
Gojo
Elsa.
and Elsa. Yeah, it's
Yeah, that's
Gojo
what
and
it was.
Elsa. It's the same people, the two that are like that are born apart from the rest of society because of their unique special power and
Hmm.
like how it simultaneously like almost destroys them and then also like is the thing that brings every that like solves the problems,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know?
God, now I want someone to take a shot. I might have to do it myself, but whatever. I wanted someone to take a shot of Elsa, but
Mhm.
then like with the Disney ass, like Disney Plus, like subtitles, like above her, like just in heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing. In like I want that, but I want her like on the balcony, you know? Like in the movie on the balcony, that's where she needs to be, I think. Or
Yeah.
you could do it in Frozen 2, I think.
Okay.
There's like a couple scenes in Frozen 2 where it could theoretically work, but I think like if you're going with Frozen 1 like traditional also that's the shot you use.
Mm.
If you're doing Frozen 2, it's got to be when she's riding the water spirit horse and like creates that wall in front of Arenelle, you
Okay.
know?
Okay. Yeah.
That's it. But yeah,
Hmm.
good times. Someone brought Jack back on TikTok, someone like in that storyline where they were like, oh, like it turns out that like Killua is Elsa and Gojo's son,
Oh
but
God.
like Killua Hunter because he's also
Yeah.
got white hair and blue eyes, right?
Yeah.
And it was like they stitched this whole thing together where Killua was like, I don't know, he's not my real dad. He doesn't feel like he's my dad, and Elsa's like, no, like that's your dad. And that's like whoever I think he was talking to Gon, but I'm not positive. And he was like, well, if Gojo's not your dad, then like who's your dad? And like Jack Frost walks
my
into
God.
frame, and it's just like, Uncle Jack! And I'm like, oh no, I can't do this again. Not this shit again. I'm not doing the Tangled Brave Guardian Dragons or whatever it was. Like, and David Tennant Doctor Who is coming back, and what is it? Something else is coming back, and I'm just like, no. I did 2012 Tumblr. I'm not doing it again.
I did my time.
I did my time. I'm not going back. You can't make me. You can. I'll go. I won't be happy about it. Yeah, great time. I'm so nervous.
Mm-hmm.
In JJK season 2, it's happened.
Well, they finally did the thing that they've been. Well, I mean, they spent a lot of time in the first season establishing a couple of things. One, Gojo's busted.
Gojo's super busted. Not just a little busted. Yeah, super busted.
He's actually fucking insane. And like the thing is, the bad guys, they figure they could probably do the things that they want. Not everything, for sure. But like,
right, yeah.
But they say like, if we can lock up Gojo, we can get some shit started. They've been saying it the whole time, and turns out in the Shibuya,
this is the problem. Yeah. This is the whole problem. We could fix this.
And they successfully seal Gojo, and they pulled a really good trick. They really did it. They even used the body of his friend, who we thought was just acting around and evil, and it turns out he's just dead.
He's just dead.
Yeah.
It sucks, and I'm sad about it. But at the same time, like, he's not just dead, because like the body reacted to Gojo, calling him out on his bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, nah, this isn't you, bro. What are you doing? And the body started reacting.
Yep.
Trying to strangle the demon brain inside him, I guess.
Yep.
He's just like, oh, weird. Why is this happening? And I'm like, I don't know. You're the one who made up the rules. You tell me why it's happening.
I love that moment, because obviously he wasn't super worried. He was just kind of like, oh, that's interesting. Like he decided to look to his cohort, who has a very filter definition. Yeah, unique is a good word. Unique definition of like what the soul is and how it is to be manipulated. And it's like, what does your theory say about this? Like, fuck, man, I don't know. Our powers are different. And it's like, you know what? Fair. And they just keep going.
They're just like, all right, moving on. We will never address that further. And it's like, are you sure we won't? Because I would like to.
I feel like it's gonna come back up.
It's gotta, but I don't know when.
Yeah. Oh man.
Like the first time it happened, we were like in the show where they're like, oh yeah, I'm tired. I can touch your soul specifically, when he was like fighting Nanami. Nanami the first time. It's like, okay, like this is a theme somehow, and they're going to be bringing this up again, because specifically when they're fighting Nanami, and Sukuna pops out, because he's like, you tried touching him specifically, and he will not have that. And like he almost died in that moment. And it's like, oh, okay, this is a thing that's going to come back. This is going to come back a lot. And this is how it's coming back. I'm not convinced we're done with like this particular story yet. I think we're going to keep this theme is going to be the thing that like keeps carrying through. I haven't read the manga. Like at this point, we're talking about JJK as anime only watchers.
Right.
But when the season fucking ends, I'm going to tell you what, I'm about to become a manga reader.
Oh man.
I'm going to cry.
I got to let you know, there's like, I've heard some things. I'm not going to talk about them here for our other fellow anime onlys. There are some things that happen in that manga. It turns out.
It turns out, you know what? Sometimes manga is a mistake.
Man. So much so that I don't know if anyone's heard about this, but there's an anime that has a main character that suspiciously looks like Gojo, but he's a boxer, and people are really excited about this new anime for some reason. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Weird how that happens. Don't worry about it, though. Don't think about it too hard.
Yeah.
Why people are excited about that.
Just remember, you don't have a favorite character. That's important.
We just don't. There are no favorite characters in JJK. not until the end of this arc. Then maybe you can have a favorite character again. We'll find out together. We're going on this journey together.
Oh man, Shibuya incident is kind of wild.
I'm not ready for it.
It's
It's gonna be over before we know it too. That's the weird part. Like every time we watch an episode recently, it's like, that's it. That's where we're stopping. Okay, I guess.
Yeah. And then we got to sit around and wait for the next week, and then it's gonna be over, and then we're just gonna have to sit with it. And then like that's
gonna have to sit with it and be like, okay, and now what do I do with my time? And they'll be like, I don't know, watch something else. No. Try again. Tell me again.
Oh man. Well, the good news is that, like, again, the fall stuff is happening, and the fall stuff is good.
The fall stuff is good.
Yeah, I've actually become a huge fan of this anime that I started kind of as a joke. I expected it to be like, oh, this is dumb nonsense, we're going to turn it off. But Shangri-La Frontier kind of slaps.
Yeah. I'm shocked, a little disappointed that it's good.
Yeah, I hear that.
Like, surprised, positive, pleasant that it is good. But also angry it's good.
Yeah, like, because I look at the cover and like, oh, this is going to be garbage.
This is gonna be trash. I'm so ready to sit here and roast this with my friends, and it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hang on. Why?
Yeah, Tegan's current, like, what's called Blue Sky name came from that show. What up?
It did.
Oh man.
God.
What up? Fucking Shangri-La. Okay, but yeah, so for people who don't know, Shangri-La Frontier is a it's not an isekai. It's like a video game anime, I guess.
Yeah, it's a faux video game.
Right.
Thing. Like it's set in the modern world, except VR games are great and so in depth actually. Like think Nerve Gear, but like when you put on the helmet, you're not trapped in the game.
Right.
You're just in the game, having fun like you're supposed to.
And so our protagonist is this guy who plays a lot of shitty VR games, a lot of them, and they take pride in beating them and like fully mastering like and surpassing them despite their jank, despite their bad design decisions, whatever, right? And so they are a capital G gamer. And after they finish their latest entry, they go back to their local GameStop where we get some incredible shots of some fake video game covers. She puts them on and tells them, like, maybe you should try the newest popular game. Like, it's well made, but maybe it'll be something that you're interested in. And so he basically signs up for, like, the new MMO, which is something between Phantasy Star and, like, Final Fantasy 14. And they sign up, and they're thrown into the middle of the game, and then they're just, like, surprised that, like, the game works. That it's like, oh, when I move, I feel like I'm moving. And, like, there's no jank, no insta-kill mechanics or anything. This is amazing. And so now this is like a, lowercase g god gamer, essentially, who is, like, entered the game after playing with, like, such a handicap. Like, this is basically Rock Lee, but, like, a gamer or whatever. And now they're, like, traversing the world, exploring it, and having a good time. And it reminded me of, like, the experience of, like, playing, like, the original, like, Dark Souls, not like remastered, but like Dark Souls, like Prepare to Die edition on PC, which is like, at the time I was playing it, like an 11, 12-year-old video game that like had a lot to say. Very interesting game, changed the world forever, incredibly janky, super buggy. What the fuck is going on? And then like, I put
How
that
is this
down.
one of the better games? Like, what is happening?
Right. And then I finished that, I put it down, and then I start up Dark Souls 3, which is like the modern equivalent of like that game, where it's like it does all the interesting things that Dark Souls did, but now it's a functioning video game. And I suddenly felt superhuman, and I was like, I want to get back into that. And so that was part of what inspired me to get back into Dark Souls 3, which I talk about on like the video game podcast. But this guy, Shangri-La, and he does like, he has a very particular style of playing. Like he's just like, okay, since it's this game, it gives me all these equipment at the beginning. I'm going to try min-maxing from the start because that's what you had to do to survive these super janky ass games. Otherwise you wouldn't make it out alive. And he's just like, I'm going to sell all my equipment. And then, I got to wear something silly. I usually try to hide my face in these games. And so they buy a bird mask, and then they do like a 2-minute explainer. Like, hey, I'm not a furry or anything. This is a legitimate strategy. I'm just prioritizing movement and agility and crit and damage or whatever. And I'm hiding my face because it's an MMO. I swear to God, that's all it is.
Yep, that's all it is. This is a legit build. It's called a speed build. It's and it's just like, okay.
And
the longer this explanation is, the more questions I have about whether or not, you know?
Yeah. And there's a side plot which will probably come into focus in the next couple of episodes, where there's a girl at school who likes this boy, who likes the jank video game boy or whatever, and she's just trying to find a way to talk to him. And she's been also talking to like the GameStop employee to see what he's been into, to try to strike up a conversation. And then she suddenly realizes that he's playing this huge popular game, and she's like, I play this game, I can get in, and then maybe I can help him out. And he'll think, oh, how cool it is that this girl from school's helping me out. Maybe I'll buy her a coffee or something to thank her or something. And she's super excited about it. And she's trying to catch up with him, but because he's a non-traditional gamer, like he didn't go to the first town and did all the NPC stuff, she just missed him, like, entirely. And now she's trying to catch up with them. I think she waited. There was like a cut near the end of the most recent episode where she's like standing in the first town, like basically waiting for him to show up. Mm-hmm. And she plays this like fully armored knight and everything.
She's
and
like
so,
an end game player. She's been playing this game a long time.
Right. And like everyone just starts like gathering around her because they think she's like some new event NPC or something.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's definitely an anime that talks about video games in the way that, like, you know, I experience them, and definitely talks about them like in like as video games as like touchstones in the modern world, and it highlights the interactivity of like those types of games rather than just like how they work. And so like instead of like talking about a game as like, this is a video game, the player hits the enemy and then they die and you get gold. Like instead of doing that stuff, they're just like, yeah, so like this guy, he's been playing video games for a while, and like instead of starting in the main town, he picked a class that made it so he starts around the main town, and it's like, oh, I don't have to go into town, I'm just gonna fuck around and fight stuff. And I'm like, hell yeah, go ahead and grind for your stats, bro. And then he like solos like a world boss or whatever, but he gets poisoned at the end, and now he's just frantically running to the second town, so he and he's racing the clocks before he dies of poison damage. And like that shit was great. Brilliant.
The way also that there was like a guy who had just convinced this girl that he liked to start playing, just hanging out outside the town.
Yeah.
Saw him running and go, hey dude, it's the building with the white sign, that's the inn, and you have to make it into the bed before your HP runs out or you're going to die and respawn. And he was like, thanks so much. And like that, his like willingness to help this very obviously like newer player to this game, even if they aren't newer overall, impressed this girl, because she was just like, oh, that was so nice of you. And he was like, yeah, that used to happen all the time when the game first came out and people were doing this. So it's just like, you know, a nice like tip for new players, because they're gonna otherwise he's gonna get dead and lose all his stuff.
Yeah, and she's just like, wow, you're so knowledgeable. You're such a veteran.
Nice. Wow. Thanks, weird bird mask man.
Yeah. Oh, man.
What a delight, you know? This game's good. This show's good.
Show's good.
The game looks fun. The show is hilarious. If you like playing video games, because you are, I assume you do because you listen to the podcast, you should check this one out. It's on Crunchyroll.
Yeah. And let me see. We've also started Shy, which like just recently started airing. And
Shy looks cute.
It does look cute, and it's a twist on like a tale that like kind of feels like it's been beaten to death in some spaces. Like I'm looking at Marvel, where it's just like there's a world and suddenly there's superheroes, and like
not everyone is a superhero, but some people are.
And apparently it's like one per country or something. Which is also insane. But the one in Japan happens to be this 14-year-old girl. And, you know, she's a superhero or whatever. And we see her, like, conduct a rescue at, like, a theme park where, like, a roller coaster got stuck in the middle. And there was a girl who was, like, in the front with, like, her brother. And she, like, no, just save the other people first. And then when she saves the other people, her car, like, falls from the roller coaster, and then this girl frantically tries to like save her or whatever, and you know, she gets the car on the ground, but then she realizes that the girl's like bloodied and like unconscious, and she's in a coma now, and she's just guilty about it for like months, and she stops doing her hero stuff or whatever. And then, you know, she happens across a burning building, and she's like, I should do something, but what if someone else is hurt? And she's, you know, a kid wrestling with this, and like an adult should wrestle with this, so it's like It's totally understandable that she's having a hard time. And then it turns out the brother of the girl that she sort of rescued, is trying to run in to save people in this burning building. She's like, no, I gotta do something.
She did rescue that brother. Like, that was the first person she rescued, was this girl's little brother.
That is true, yes.
And he's like, Shy rescued me, and so, like, if she's not here, I'm gonna do a rescue. And it's like, you are 8. Please stop.
Please stop. And then, Shy went out and did it. And apparently there are other heroes which are mostly silly. There's a drunken Russian hero. And I don't think we've really met any of the other ones, but she's just recently been transported to like the space like hero outpost, and they're being told that there's some larger threat that's looming, and that's why the superheroes are real, not for any other reason.
Yep.
And so like that seems to be what we're going to be talking about.
There is already merch of the other heroes, though. We have seen it. Like, she has merch for the other heroes in her room. It's very goofy.
And it looks like it's going to be a good time. I think it's not a fresh idea, but it looks like a fresh execution, and it looks like it's in capable hands.
I think even if like the story itself is overall weak, I think the animation will save it.
I believe that.
I think this one feels like it's going to solidly land at like a 6,
Okay.
It'll be like good, not amazing,
I'm hopeful for a 7, I think.
I think if everything is bad, it'll land at a 6,
Okay.
But like, I don't think that's where it's going to sit for us. I think that's the lowest it's going to sit for us.
That makes some sense. Yeah, I get that. And then, we got our classic revenge story, the Kingdoms of Ruin, where, during like the technological evolution for mankind or whatever, they find out witches are real and they killed all of them. And people laughed as they were being murdered or, executed, genocided, depending on how you want to cut that. And that's wild. And then there's one powerful witch who's traveling with some human boy, and she's eventually caught and captured and, executed. And then they fast forward where like the human empire that's taken over hasn't actually brought prosperity to everyone. Gee, I wonder how that happened. And there's one girl who tries to escape like this prison camp that she's been trapped in, and then she finds the boy, and the boy is going to kill everyone, it looks like. That looks like his plan.
I can't wait for him to kill everyone. He deserves to, frankly.
Actually, it's one of those. Like, I mean, I usually aren't behind stories like that. Like, it's part of the reason that I like bounce off of like Attack on Titan. There were other reasons I have for it, but like I'm like, this seems like very straightforward at the very beginning. They're just like, hey, this is a revenge story. This kid's mad as fuck, and you know why. And I'm like, yeah, let's go, I guess.
It was very good. The way that because like, I'm mad now. I am also mad, actually. Yeah. I'm mad as hell. This witch looked absolutely awesome, and they publicly humiliated her, and then they gunned her down. Correct. And there was nothing she could do about it, and there was nothing this kid could do about it. Right. And then they're just like, yeah, we're going to imprison this kid until he dies. He's not a witch. He's a regular human, but he does know magic. And so we are just going to lock him away forever.
And just to be clear here, they didn't just like lock him away like in a facility or whatever where he could like walk around. They put him
in like an Iron Maiden with like a metal mask on his head. Right. And also like arm cuffs and feet cuffs, and like he can't do anything, he can't say anything, he can't see anything. And this little cotton candy pink girl just let him out. Yep.
And so like, you know what? That kid gets to do whatever he wants. It's fine. Whatever.
He can't. He's been in there clearly for years at this point. Like he can do whatever he wants. He is allowed. We're giving him a pass.
Like he was a boy when he saw like his like caregiver like witch like mom person like die, and he is clearly like a young man now. Like we are not playing around. Like this kid's gonna fuck some shit up, and he deserves it.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Good for him.
Yeah.
You know who doesn't deserve anything that's going to happen in this anime?
Huh.
Berserk of Gluttony. These characters deserve nothing, and they're gonna give me nothing. I'm so upset about it.
I don't know. I feel like they might fix Kirito. I'm interested.
They might fix Kirito, but they're gonna ruin Asuna even more.
Yeah, they're gonna ruin. They have no idea what they're gonna do with
They
us.
have no idea. It's gonna be a mess. Okay, so Berserk of Gluttony. This is not a video game world. This is a fantasy world. But in this fantasy world, everyone is born with these things called skills and stats. Just like if it were a video game, but it's not a video game. It's real life, okay? We need to establish this is not a video game. This is real life. Our kid protagonist he's like, 16. He has a special skill. His special skill is called gluttony. And all it means is he's hungry all the time, apparently, allegedly. And the not Crimson Blood Knights in this world, instead of wearing white and blue or white and red armor, they wear white and blue armor, and it consists of totally not James, totally not Jesse, and another asshole. And they are bullying this kid whose special skill is gluttony because he's always hungry all the time, and he sucks at fighting because he can't do anything. So they just like make him do their like bitch work that they would have to do as knights instead, like. Holding a flag near a gate is like one of their jobs. And they're like, no, I'm not doing that today. So I'm going to give this guy like 5 pennies essentially and make him do it. And then I'm going to bully him because of how weak and shitty he is. Because I don't actually care about protecting the people that I'm supposed to be protecting.
Very much Frog Kid dropped his lunch on the ground and girls laughing at him.
Right, exactly. And then, of course, Asuna comes in, except her name's not Asuna. It's, the main kid's name is Fate also. That's his name.
Name's Fate, yeah.
Totally not Asuna's name is Roxy. She has beautiful, long butt length, long, blonde, silky hair, and these beautiful blue eyes. And she's so kind to Fate. She's so kind to him all the time. He's doing his best. And it's her job as a knight to help protect him because he's just a little guy, right? He's very much just a little guy, but he's her little guy because she thinks it's just so cute that he wants to help, even though he sucks and can't help at anything. And, she like goes off and defends the town and then like feels bad about him having to like stay behind and like do a murder at one point with a flag spear. She's like, oh no, you had to fight and it was my fault because I wasn't here to protect you. And he's just like, nah, it's chill. I just killed a dude and my stats went up and I don't know why. He doesn't say that last part, but like that's what happens is his stats go up.
Right.
He has never done combat before, so this is exciting news for him. So he then goes to a sword maker, like a guy who just like resells equipment essentially. The guy realizes he's poor as heck and just goes, well, you can pick a sword out of that bargain bin over there. And our boy Fate picks a sword called Greed. And Greed immediately starts talking to him and going like, oh yeah, you have the skill gluttony. Great. I know what we can do about this. You're going to buy me. And Fate's like, I don't know if I should buy you. You're a weird talking demon sword. And he goes, no, trust me. You're going to buy me. And Fate's just like, okay. Shrug emoji.
Fucking dumbass.
Leaves his little 5 copper pieces or whatever on the counter and leaves with this sword named Greed. Greed essentially goes like, let's go out into a field and kill a bunch of shit.
Yep.
And he's like, but I don't know how to use a sword. And Greed's like, well, the only way you're going to learn how to use a sword is by killing a bunch of shit. So let's go.
Yep. That's basically what happened. Oh no.
He spends all day fighting like goblins and slimes and stuff, low level monsters, mostly goblins. And he gets tons of skills. He does not level up, not once. He's still level 1, but now all of his stats are higher and he's got all these extra skills and he's like, that's wild. Also, I'm not hungry. Why is that? Greed the sword is like, well, the skill gluttony is a skill eater. You kill a thing and you get skills and stats from it. But as a result, you can never be above level 1. And Fate's just like, oh, that's cool. We're going to leave now. And the sword is like, are you stupid? cut off literally all of these goblin ears and turn them in for like rewards, so you have money to do things with. And Fate's like, oh man, do I have to? God, this is gonna be so bad. I'm so mad about it. I'm so mad about it. And then also he found out one of his skills is like telepathy, but only if he's touching someone.
Right.
Which is weird. He can always speak telepathically to the sword, apparently. But like Roxy, who is totally not Asuna, right? She comes over and she holds his hand and she's like talking to him, but he can hear her thoughts and she's like, oh, he's so cute and he's so weak and little. I have to protect him. And it's just like, why can I hear your thoughts? That's weird. But he doesn't say it out loud. He just thinks it really loud to himself. And then she stops holding his hand and he stops being able to hear her thoughts. And it's like, oh, that's why. This is not going to cause problems at all in the future. I can totally tell. Right? God, this show's going to be so bad. Asuna, I'm so afraid they're going to make Roxy like they're either going to make her like, this boy is my poor little meow meow, no matter how strong he gets. Or she's going to be like a weird yandere girl. Yeah. And neither one is good. Both of them are worse than the original.
Yeah, I hear
the
that.
original just suffered from being in a bad story. I was really hoping this was going to be like well-written Asuna in a better story, but this is poorly written Asuna, possibly in a worse story.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so mad about it. Two episodes are out. Well, at time of recording, 3 episodes are out, but we've only seen the first one.
Right.
So maybe it's gotten better. I'm not optimistic. I'm so afraid right now.
Oh man. But worst comes to worst, we still have Spy Family, so.
We do still have Spy Family, and Spy Family is once again great. It's so good. They are so funny. Oh my god. Anya, perfect, actually. I love her. Their whole family dynamic, so good. The way that the entire first episode, Yor has been injured on the job. She got shot in the butt. Embarrassing. Correct. Everybody is upset about it. She, especially because she can't sit down and her butt hurts a lot. She can't go to the doctor about it because then it's like, well, how'd you get shot in the butt? She can't tell anyone she's an assassin. So she's just grumpy. And Lloyd naturally thinks, oh, it's my fault. She's mad at me. And this whole fake family is going to fall apart because she's going to want a divorce. Right. This is terrible. Everything is bad. And Anya's sitting there going, no, that's not right. My dad is dumb. Does not correct him, though.
Yeah, right. Jeez.
And so then they go, Lloyd and York go out on a date. Because they've never been on a date. And Lloyd comes up with all these plans, all these crazy plans. And like 99% of them are completely thwarted by the fact that York can't sit down.
Right. Yeah.
Oh god, it's so funny.
Oh man. I think Anya made a bomb in this episode.
Yeah, she did. She did make a bomb by reading someone's mind because they were talking about how they were going to make a bomb.
Yeah, that's true.
And so she just did it.
She just did it. She just made a bomb super quick and then spooked this like freedom fighter or whatever.
Yep, into not being a freedom fighter anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, I have an opportunity to kill Yor. This is great. And then Anya just like makes a food bomb and then is like, this is you have an opportunity to do better for your girlfriend and she deserves better. And then like leaves and he's just like, you know what? She's right. That teeny tiny assassin is correct. She does deserve better. Straight and narrow. To be fair though, if you were almost killed by a 5-year-old and they told you things that you had never told anyone else. Yeah. You know what? I'd also straight and narrow after that.
I'd probably give up too. Yeah. That makes sense to me.
God, it was hilarious. The funniest thing, though, was watching Yor drink an entire martini glass full of pufferfish poison and just being like, wow, my butt doesn't hurt anymore. That was pretty
pretty good, actually.
Immune to poison, but actually medicinal effect good. And then the narrator voice and like a big like notification came up and was like, please do not do this at home. Don't do it. Pufferfish poison is very deadly. Do not drink it at home.
Right.
We cannot emphasize enough. This is a special circumstance. You will not survive this. Don't do it.
I mean, someone's gonna try it, Teeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
God, it was funny. It continues to be a delight. We know. We are aware. I am aware. I don't know if you're aware. Some, if they get as far as they're talking about getting in the show, there is some stuff that happens.
Okay.
We're not going to worry about it right now, though.
Fair enough.
You know, sometimes you just look the other way for a show. You just look somewhere else. And I think this is a situation where we can all go, yeah, that's gross, and then just move on, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I hear that.
I could be wrong. They could animate it really badly and we'll just have to stop. Who knows? We'll get there. Maybe, allegedly.
Oh, man. I do want to get off of... I want to handle this moment before we get into some of the more fun stuff here.
Is it One Piece?
No. Oh, God.
Okay.
I still got to do One Piece.
You still got to do One Piece. It's okay.
Yeah, but I want to talk briefly about Overtake.
Okay.
Which appears to be an F1 racing story that has like a heartfelt, potentially tearjerk drama like mixed into it.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like we have a photographer with trauma meeting a struggling like F4 racer who will hopefully end up in an ascent that will take them to the top. It doesn't look great right now. Mm-hmm. I think it might ultimately end up being good, but like there's a couple of things with like the way that the CG animation seems to undersell the racing sequences, and like while it's the first episode and they kind of have to explain more things than they get to show things. I feel like their big moments aren't landing the way that they're hoping, and I'm concerned because it looks like because I remember Tegan was looking at the cast and like there's some new talent here that have done, you know, they've been around in like lesser roles, but like there's like a new lead and like it looks like this might be their chance, and I'm worried that they might miss it, which sucks.
I don't know if they're gonna miss it because I don't know if it's gonna be their fault that it fails, you know.
That's fair. Yeah.
It could, because so far, the vocal talent has given great performances. It's just the animation is bad. For the races, the cars all feel slow, which is not good for Formula One racing, let alone Formula 4 racing, you know? But also, when the cars are going, the wheels don't move.
Yeah.
Which is the weirdest part. Like, that's the part that makes it so obvious that like the CG cars are not doing what they're supposed to do. And for an anime that the background is a race, that does not bode well.
Right. Yeah.
That's the fault of the studio, not the voice acting talent, you know?
But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that before we got into the other stuff. Do you really want me to do One Piece first?
Yeah, do One Piece first.
Okay, Jesus. All right, so I am excited to announce that I am actually caught up.
Yeah.
On One Piece. There is the weekly episode that I have to watch today, which we'll watch after the recording of this episode. But I have officially watched 1,078 episodes of One Piece, and I am basically caught up. Last time we spoke, I had finished episode 1005, where the Straw Hats were, actually not just the Straw Hats, but the Samurai Mink Pirate Alliance was neck deep in the raid of Onigashima, and there's a lot of fights breaking out. The three captains of the worst generation, which are Monkey D. Luffy, Trafalgar, Water D. Law, and Eustace Captain Kid, have all challenged two of the Yonko, which is Kaido, leader of the Animal Kingdom Pirates and the strongest beast alive, and Big Mom, leader of the Big Mom Pirates and matriarch of Whole Cake Island and its surrounding nation. And it's going to look like it's going to be a mess. And to be honest, it is. Holy shit. But a lot of things happen, you know. I'm just going to go through some of the highlights. The fight ultimately separates thanks to the efforts of Zoro. So that Luffy ends up in a 1v1 versus Kaido while he's also holding up the island and trying to crash it on like the current capital of the Samurai Nation Wano. While Kid and Law end up fighting against Big Mom 2v1. The leaders, the top Straw Hats end up fighting against the top Animal Kingdom pirates. Zoro ends up fighting against oh god, I'm spacing on his name right now, which is kind of embarrassing. Zoro ends up fighting against King, who is Kaido's like number 2, who is also a creature seemingly from like a hidden race that's vulnerable to all damage as long as there's a flame on their back remains lit. And Sanji ends up fighting against Queen, who we met before. They ran one of the prison labor camps in the country of Wano. But there's a lot of running around in between. Nami gets cornered by a woman ulti who has like a tall like dinosaur girl with horns with a cotton candy blue and pink hair. Who threatens to headbutt Nami to death, with has to be one of Nami's most feared ways to die, actually. If she didn't admit that Luffy wasn't going to be king of the pirates, and she almost dies, but, you know, Frankie shows up and saves her and ends up in the middle of a different fight. Pedro is ultimately avenged by the Minks. They actually get to take down Perospero, that fucking crazy-ass candy eater dude. Yamato does like a million things. Honestly, MVP of the arc. Shoutouts to her. And then, you know, like that's when some of these later fights start getting ironed out. When Zoro, Luffy, and Sanji's fights start picking up, that's when like the animation budget like enters like, you know, world class areas, and like they unlock new abilities and whatnot. Like Sanji wins his fight with Queen not only because he finds a new peak to like his like Diamble Flame, which is Ignis, which is the blue flame kick. But also, apparently, the thing that he's never had, which is like the Germa, like experimental, like physical durability that his siblings have, where like they are immune to most like physical damage, like punches, kicks, bullets, and whatnot, suddenly awakened in Sanji.
Okay.
Unclear why, but once that started happening, it was very clear to Sanji that he was no longer worried about fighting Queen, and he was much more concerned about the fact that he may lose his humanity, that he would become like his older brothers and to some extent his sister, where like they are emotionless, like battle-hungry husks that don't care for the finer things in life, like, you know, women and food or whatever. And he did not want to do that. Eventually, Sanji reconciles that and kicks the shit out of the Queen, and that's really cool. Zoro, like, gets severely injured while repelling a duo attack from both Kaido and Big Mom. And then he manages to slash Kaido by using what's called advanced Color of the Conqueror, and that requires a little bit of explanation as far as I understand. So like we know hockey is a power system, right? It's basically the ability of like someone with a soul, like their ki or whatever, used offensively generally. I mean, there's armament hockey, which can be used to protect yourself, and then there's like observation hockey, which allows you to kind of get a little bit of precog, and then Color of the Conqueror, which allows you to impose your will on creatures around you. And when you use Wano's like application of hockey, which is called Ryuo for the most part, where you can basically extend additional hockey outside of your body, so you kind of like ghost punch things. Essentially, that's the idea. And that was the way that Odin was able to wound Kaido. Like he took a very powerful sword and then pushed his will beyond the length of the sword and slashed with that force, which allowed him to cut through Kaido's scales. But one thing that is unique to people who have access to the Color of the Conqueror or Conqueror's Haki is that they can use their Conqueror's Haki, which already inflicts like their will upon their opponent in like a AoE fashion into a direct fashion. And there's actually a sequence in like 1028 where Luffy realizes this, where like his Ryuo punches are no longer red, but they're golden. And he can suddenly fight evenly with Kaido while on like the island and stuff. And that's when the fight starts to turn. And it's a really great sequence that kind of got overshadowed a little bit because that was the first time that Luffy actually does Red Rock also. But those are things that like anime watchers love, manga watchers love. And I mean, it's a thing that you don't hear talked about as much right now because all the Gear 5 hype. And also because the Red Rock stuff happened about a year ago. Like, honestly. So there's just new stuff to talk about. Also, I do want to highlight this before I forget. There are two very big things that are important in like the overall conflict at Onigashima. One is that the Animal Kingdom pirates have a much larger fighting force than the raiding party. Like the raiding party was about 5,000 strong, taking on about 30,000 Animal Kingdom pirates, right? So like by sheer numbers, even if they like were really good at fighting, like it's very hard to justify a 6-1 like win, even with like superpowered characters, because both sides have superpowered characters. They just do. That's why the Animal Kingdom pirates are so strong in the first place. But two things happen. One, when Queen starts to get frustrated with what's going on in like the performance hall, where they like threatened to murder Momonosuke and everything, and they were presenting the alliance to like the Animal Kingdom pirates, he starts using a biological weapon that he cooked up, these ice oni bullets, which I think was one of the last things I talked about last time we were here. Where he fires these playgrounds into people that basically cool their body functions and turn them into like Oni, but like accelerates their like adrenaline so that they basically fight until their bodies literally give out. And Chopper, who's like the doctor of the Straw Hats, angry at the use of medicine and like biological weapons, is determined to find an antidote for this plague and promises to use it for allies and enemies alike. And since Queen is not sympathetic to the Oni that he's transferring, in fact, he sees this as the best use of their powers since they weren't able to gain any powers by eating the small foods in the first place, does not care for them. They are much more amenable to fighting alongside the Straw Hats for this purpose if they are able to be cured. In addition, in the Animal Kingdom pirates, there was a spy, X-Drake, who is noted as one of the worst generation, who is actually a Navy spy who ate this like dinosaur fruit that allows him to turn into a T-Rex, or an Allosaurus, actually. Allosaurus. And he's been made. But since like Onigashima is being raided anyways, he asked for the Straw Hats' help. And because he's swinging on like the Animal Kingdom pirates, Zoro says he's cool, so they fight along with him, which is useful. And a third thing, which is Otama, who is a young girl that Luffy met at the beginning of this arc, has a devil fruit ability, Chibidango, which basically allows her to feed a dumpling that's made from her flesh to an animal and gain its like fealty in exchange. And since the Animal Kingdom pirates are full of like devil fruit users, quote unquote, who are part animal now, all of them are potential targets. And so while Luffy and them were planning their side of the raid, she was also planning a counter strategy to have some of the Animal Kingdom pirates that she's already won over to feed the Animal Kingdom pirates en masse these Chibidango dumplings so that she could turn a large swath of the more powerful Animal Kingdom pirates against the Animal Kingdom pirates.
Oh, God.
Yeah, right?
That's like 9 steps ahead of anything. Yeah. Oh, Lord. Oh, no.
Which was great. All that shit works. And, like, you know, it changes, like, you know, like 5,000 or 30,000 to, like, 3,000 versus 18,000 to later on about 10,000 to 11,000, but Kaido's still on the other side. You know what I mean? And so, like, all these, like, small shifts are happening, and they're being watched by, like, an elite infiltration group that belonging to the Navy, the military, called CP0, who are basically watching over the fight. And they were initially directed to just keep an eye on this like development. They were the first to announce to the Navy that Big Mom and Kaido had joined forces, which isn't great for them, but they probably have to do something about it at that point. But then they find out that they're being raided, and they're told to watch and see how the raid goes, but eliminate the Straw Hats regardless of what happens. And then when it looks like that the Straw Hats are starting to turn the tides, they say capture Nico Robin, because she's the only person basically in the world that can read the poneglyphs, and she's going to be important to whatever pirate group survives this. Then everyone gets their solo fights. Sanji gets his great blue flame transformation where he uses the Ignis and beats Queen. Zoro gets probably one of the best animation sequences of the year, where he basically pledges his soul to hell with the sword that was given to him by Odin's daughter, Enma, and decides that with his conqueror's hockey, he is going to be the king of hell and represent death on Earth or whatever, and that's what allows him to be king. I know that's a bunch of shonen nonsense, but it was cool, I swear.
That is a bunch of shonen nonsense, but I get it. You know what? I get it. Good for them.
Also, in the
fight, the king of hell. You do that.
In what's it called? The fight with Kid and Law versus Big Mom. One, they're realizing that Big Mom has an insane amount of shit going on. I think that at one point they break Big Mom's left arm, but then she infuses her soul into her broken bones, and then basically demands that they heal and reform themselves, and then they do.
That's nonsense. No,
that okay. Fucking happens.
The other guy can be the king of hell, but that's a level of bullshit I don't think I can get behind.
And so then they realize they have to start pulling out all the tricks, and then so Law's sitting next to Kid, and he's like, "You've awakened your devil fruit, right?" And he's just like, "What the fuck? How do you?" Yeah, I guess, but what? It's we need to pull out our big shit. We got to fucking do it, right? And so they use their combination attacks, which Kid has the repel fruit, which usually what he does is that he pulls whatever metal around, which usually means taking weapons from the enemy, forming them into a giant metal arm and smashing shit. That's usually what he does. He uses it to turn into a giant mech and then a giant bull. And he starts ramming and actually locking down Big Mom through sheer mass. And Law's awakened fruit, which is the Op fruit. What he does a couple very specific things. He can create barriers and he can shift stuff using room. But what he did is that he made a room around his sword. And because the room is around his sword and he can shuffle things inside a room at will, it was something that was able to pierce Big Mom's skin. And so he actually extendos the sword, because it's also a thing. He just thins out the metal and extends the range of it. Mm-hmm. And he basically makes it stab through Big Mom, through the bottom of Onigashima, into the ground below, revealing the Earth's magma and everything. Uh-huh. And then creates a room around Big Mom, silencing her so that no one can hear her, which means she can't give commands to the spirits that she controls outside that space. And basically drops her into the magma below, where she hopefully dies. But honestly, with Big Mom, I'm not sure.
So you're saying Big Mom might just be swimming around beneath the surface of the Earth's crust?
I'm saying it's entirely possible.
Just hanging out.
Yeah.
I hate that. Hey, no. I don't like it.
And then we got to see Jinbei box for real, and I love Jinbei. Jinbei's so fucking sick. But also, that's when they revealed that the gum fruit isn't the gum fruit, and is actually a lie proliferated by the government to obscure what it actually was. Oh, God. Which the gum fruit, which obviously sounds like a dumb power, and it shouldn't be that powerful. But what it actually is, it is a Zoan fruit, which okay, let me go back. There are mainly three types of fruits, right? Mm-hmm. There are Zoan, Paramecia, and Logia. Logia, we're introduced to pretty early as something busted, because what it does is that it changes your body fundamentally. that you can change it into a different thing at will. Ace, for example, who ate the fire fruit, could turn his body into fire at will, and he could generate fire from essentially his body whenever he wanted. Paramecia fruits allow you to modify things around you. For example, Doflamingo's string fruit is a paramecia fruit, and it allows him to like modify like matter into strings that he's able to manipulate.
Okay, sure. That can be how that works.
And then the Zoan fruits are transformation fruits. They turn you into something else. A simple example is Chopper. This gets a bit more complicated, but Chopper, was originally a normal reindeer, but he ate a human fruit, which allows him to take on humanoid forms and manipulate those forms as long as they remained humanoid.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So Luffy's fruit, the Gum fruit, is not actually the Gum fruit at all. In fact, it's revealed by the upper leaders of government, which are like 5 dudes in a room in Mary Joie someplace, that the Gum fruit is actually a Zoan fruit, human type Nika. And Nika is apparently a fabled sun god whose powers were encapsulated into a devil fruit somewhere. And the government knew that was so powerful that they lied about what it was so that the most powerful pirate groups wouldn't go after it. And if whoever picked it up wouldn't know what it was, which meant they wouldn't be able to use it effectively. But
God, but obviously that didn't work.
Right. And that's for a couple of reasons. The Gum fruit, or the human fruit type Nika, Nika was a human who was able to fight freely because he was able to like his body was made of like rubber essentially, which is still true. Mm-hmm. But when awakened, you can apply the properties of your fruit to things around you. Like, for example, Doflamingo's awakened string fruit allowed him to turn things that were not strings into strings that he could now manipulate. Uh-huh. And so Luffy's Nika human fruit allowed his body, which is currently made of rubber, or as far as he understands it, to make other things work like rubber. And so when he was fighting Kaido, he basically turned into a Looney Tunes character and like could bend things into a cartoony verse. And he did things like, for example, when Kaido fired a fireball at him, he lifted up the earth like it was nothing and then bounced the fireball off of the earth that he lifted back at Kaido because he could. Those are the things he's capable of. He bounces on earth like it's a trampoline because it feels fun to him. Mm-hmm. He was at one point swallowed by Kaido and he reached his hands through Kaido's eyes, stretching them out so that he could grab his mouth and pull it back open so he could shoot himself out like a rocket. This is the thing that the government was afraid of. Luffy is actually the government's worst nightmare.
So, hang on.
Mm-hmm.
Luffy is made of rubber. Right. It is not the fruit that made him rubber.
It is the fruit that made him rubber, but that's not all that it does.
But that's not So Luffy can do all this stuff because he's just having a blast?
Basically, because
he's just like, what would be really cool? If I could imagine a world in which I just flicked the earth crust up and the fireball bounced off it. Oh, look, it did it. Ha ha ha. How silly is that? Like, that's what he's doing and that's it?
Right. Like, Luffy's like powers are essentially bound by his imagination and what he feels like he can do. And basically, he stretches himself until he can do it. Pun intended.
Okay, so literally the reason that he can do this is because he believes in himself and he thinks he'll be able to figure out a solution to anything that's presented to him. Is that actually his superpower?
Basically, yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I hate and also love that the message of the One Piece prologue is if you believe in yourself, you can literally do anything.
Yeah.
That's stupid, and I feel like it shouldn't have taken over 1,000 episodes to get here, and yet, you know what? If the journey hadn't have been 1,000 episodes, I don't think we would have gotten here.
That's fair. Also, I do want to mention is that that also puts into context basically all the other things that Luffy's been doing up until now, right? Like when Luffy gets scared, when he fights, like, because there's a pattern that has been happening over the course of the series. Like when Luffy meets like a major enemy, like say like Crocodile in Alabasta or Doflamingo in Dressrosa. Like, usually he has to fight them a couple of times before he can actually win. And like, he kind of gets smoked in certain situations because he gets flabbergasted, right? Like, he's no longer having fun and he has to figure out what's going on. But like, once Luffy gets like a handle on how the powers work and he just gets to swing, that's when he wins. That's literally exactly when he wins. And like, up until then, like that's kind of what was happening with sort of like Kaido and everything. Like, once Luffy, like when Luffy like gets to swing with like ACOC, when he realizes that he can push Conqueror's Haki out of his fist, the way he can push Armament Haki, he starts smoking Kaido, and it's gross. And like, the moment that he realizes, like, you know, he like is effectively a god now, like he can hit him with like a planet-sized fist and shit. Like that, like once Luffy like feels safe and is having fun in the midst of combat, Luffy wins. And like, until then, it's a toss-up. But Luffy's like, you know, Devil Fruit specifically, because he's made of rubber, makes him so durable that he basically gets the time to figure out how to win, which is always really fun. But like, that's what's going on.
So Luffy's just a Dark Souls player?
Maybe. I would think,
but his life is Dark Souls.
His life is kind of Dark Souls, but I think of him more of like Franklin Richards, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because like, Luffy is not effective when he's scared or when he's worried, you know?
Well,
like
I mean, I don't know a single Dark Souls player that is effective when they're scared or worried.
That's fair.
You know? Like, the entire time you're figuring out those tactics, you're getting smoked.
Right. And like, that's basically when Luffy like fails or whatever, but like, as long as he's able to get back up, you know, right. And as long as he's sure about what he's doing and he's having fun doing it, Luffy can't lose. Also, I do want to highlight Robin's fight specifically, because I mean, Gear 5 is cool and all. Robin's probably actually my favorite character. I love her. Because Robin is definitely like, she's an older woman to all these like teenagers, young adults or whatever. Like, Robin's like 28 at this point in the story or something, and she's just kind of like hanging around with her silly little friends.
She's just like, look at all these college grads I just picked up off the street one day on accident. Yeah. You know what? Someone's got to make sure they don't kill themselves. So it's me. I'm here. Hello.
And there's a handful of things that happen. Like, Sanji gets tricked, you know, because like he meets like a geisha, a giant spider woman, and she's beautiful, you know, but she doesn't have good plans for him. But like, Sanji's like, I don't fight women, which is a well-documented thing. It's been like 600 chapters.
Good for him. Good for him.
But also, it's just like, I'm not in so much danger here. But then like, there is a point where he's like tied up and he's going to be burned alive, and he's just like, I don't know what I'm going to do here, and I can't fight them because again, they're all women. And so he cries for help. And like, Nico Robin shows up, and like the enemy, Black Maria, sees this like, my trap worked. I got Robin here, and this weak man sold you out. And then like, Robin's like, Sanji's not weak. He's my friend. And I'm really honored that he chose to believe in me in this moment. And like, that's her response.
That's so good. Are you kidding me?
Yes, it is.
That's so good. No, just like immediately. No, Robin. Actually, he's like one of the strongest people I know. You're being shitty because he's being nice to you.
Yeah, exactly. And like, what's it called? And when Robin, Robin, like, you know, she has like the flower fruit, which allows her to like extend her limbs out of like wherever she wants, basically.
Yeah, magic lotus powers.
Right. Because Black Maria is a spider and fights with poison magic, or poison attacks, essentially, like, that is actually a very vulnerable space for Robin. Because you know, when she blooms out of places, like, that just creates like more places for her to be hit. Actually.
Okay, gotcha.
And she doesn't use Haki, mostly I think because of power scaling, because like, I'm not kidding, but if Robin actually had access to Haki, just like Armament Haki, not even like Conquerors, she would be the second strongest Straw Hat, and it wouldn't be close. Like, she would be hilariously strong if she had access to Haki, but she doesn't, and so whatever.
She doesn't, like, canonically, or she doesn't right now, question mark?
Right now, question mark? We've never seen her use Haki. However, it's entirely possible she could use it eventually, just not at this point in the story. Right. But one thing that I am pretty sure of is that she's actually awakened her devil fruit.
Oh, okay.
Because in this fight with Black Maria, we get like a whole recap of her backstory. Like, she was on the island as a child, no friends, and then the whole island gets carpet bombed. And because of the kindness of a couple people, some affiliated with the Navy, some not, she's able to survive. The whole world hunts her down until she finds the Straw Hats, and then the Straw Hats become her friend, and they are willing to go to fight against the world for her benefit. And so she'll follow them wherever they go. Mm-hmm. And that's when she realizes that, not realizes, but she reaffirms the fact that these friendships, the connections that she's made, this found family that she has is the most important thing to her. And it's so important that even for them, for their benefit, she would become a demon. And she gets this gnarly ass, like Sailor Moon ass 90s animation demon transformation.
That sounds sick as hell.
And fucking destroys Black Maria. And I'm just like, Robin Nico, my fucking hero.
You have to send that to me immediately, actually.
Yeah, give me a second. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, yes, I can.
I hear you typing. I know it's coming, but I want it on the radio. That I am asking for this immediately.
It's called Demonio Floor, actually.
Oh my god.
Let me see. I'm just gonna grab a couple images actually, because there are a few of these, and they are so sick.
Oh my god.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, she can't have hockey, actually. It's illegal.
Yeah, if she had hockey, she would be so fucking gross. It's so nasty.
Oh, no. Oh, God. Yeah, you know what? She can't have hockey. She's not allowed. Unless it's the very end of the final fight. Then she can have hockey.
Yeah.
But not a moment before, actually.
Also,
she would just be busted. She'd be on magical girl power scaling.
Yep, yeah, she would. She'd just enter a totally different genre, actually. Oh, wait, hold on. I have the manga panel, actually. Yeah, there we go. I'm just peppering these images in. These are so good.
This is wild. I'll do it for the people who truly need me. Oh my god.
Oh man. Oh yeah, that's right. And so Black Maria, when she was trying to cocoon not Robin up, she was saying okay, yeah, so they need you because you can read poneglyphs, so you don't need your arms or your legs. And she was planning to basically remove her limbs and stuff and deliver her to the government / Kaido.
Mm-hmm.
And then she turns it on and is what was that about you saying I not needing arms and legs? And she's threatening her big scary. Oh my god, it's so good. It's Wano, obviously watching it week to week had been rough because it's been 2.5 years. Mm-hmm. But this raid on Onigashima has been fucking wild from start to finish.
I wonder if there's going to be an arc coming up where you end up being no, actually, I'm going to wait for this whole thing to finish so I can just watch it at once.
I'm debating it. Actually, because I know, from what I know, the manga, because there is an arc between here and what's supposed to be the final One Piece story, which is called the Egghead arc, where they spend a lot of time with Vegapunk, who's the world's foremost researcher inventor, and where Frankie will actually spent 2 years in their laboratory, and I think specifically working with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so that the manga's been there for about a year, and now they're moving into the final arc, which is basically pirate battle royale, but also versus the government.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, all that stuff's happening, and I would not be surprised. In fact, I would be elated. Ecstatic even if Robin's final power up, including full hockey manipulation, comes about in her clash against the head of the government that called for the carpet bombing of her home island.
Ooh, oh, that would be good.
Yeah,
that
right.
Would feel earned.
Yeah. And like she's definitely been positioned for it because like Robin's actual only enemy in the series is the government, right? They're the cause of her tragic backstory. They were the reason that she was putting her life on the line for her friends in like Water 7 and Annie's Lobby. And the only person, and also during the time skip, she like traveled with like the revolution or the Revolutionary Army, and also met Monkey D. Dragon, who's Luffy's father. And so like she's been beefing with the government this whole time. And like if she was ever going to really swing on anyone, because like in the past couple of arcs, you know, well, with the exception of this one, but like Whole Cake and Dressrosa, Robin's just kind of been around. She's been looking after herself, you know, but she's not really swinging on anybody. But like she has beef with the government, and she would be fully deserved to really fuck some shit up. And I hope that's
like it just happens that she's like, my time has come, and like reveals that she's had Conqueror's Haki this entire time and just didn't tell anybody about it.
Yeah, because it wasn't important. And I'm like, you know what, fair.
It didn't matter. And you know what? Now it does. Behold.
Some small highlights. I think I told you about Zeus, right? Who was like the spirit that Big Mom made. That was the giant electric spirit that was traveling with Nami.
Yes.
So at one point, Big Mom did reclaim Zeus and tried to use it to kill Nami.
Oh no!
Nami survived, and you know Zeus failed. And then during the fight with Kaido, at one point, Big Mom was knocked off the island into the ocean. She was rescued by like some group of enemies. I just don't remember who right now. But Zeus wasn't there to save her, and so because it was being trapped by Kid and his like repel powers. And so when she came back, she made a new electric familiar called Hera, you know.
Right, Zeus and Hera. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And it seems to work better with like the sword Napoleon and the flame spirit Prometheus. And so she's fully turned her back on Zeus. And she actually tells Hera to eat Zeus at one point. And before she's able to take like the final bite or whatever, the remainder of Zeus's soul ends up possessing Nami's like pole like weapon. And so now Zeus is with Nami forever. And
okay.
Now they have like a working relationship, but Nami was like very slow to forgive him for good reason, you know.
Right, understandable.
Yeah. So that happened. Also, there's a thing that was a callback, which I loved very much. It's one of my favorite things about the show. Back in Thriller Bark, right? Which has to have been a lifetime ago. Where they were fighting on the Halloween Island, and Gecko Moria was like using zombies to chase down the Straw Hats and shit. One of the zombies that the Straw Hats fought, specifically Brooks and Zoro, because it took Brooks' shadow and Zoro was the only one that could fight it, was a samurai from the land of Wano. And it was also mentioned, kind of offhand at the time, that Gecko Moria's crew was defeated and killed by Kaido and the Animal Kingdom pirates. And he left the New World in disgrace because of it. But it turns out that he was able to take this corpse with him, which happened to have this one sword that Zoro ended up taking after defeating him or whatever. But it looks like, because we saw a person in Wano that looks suspiciously like that corpse, and it may have actually been an ancestor of Zoro's.
Oh.
Yeah, like from like the northern islands over there. Like he has a face that looks exactly like adult Zoro. His hair is like electric blue instead of green and stuff. And like Zoro's like actual backstory, it's still pretty gray. We don't actually know how he ended up in the East Blue at all. But he did know an old man from the country of Wano, and it seemed like one of the few people that like Zoro knew when he was like a wandering vagrant child running around with two kendo sticks. So
two kendo sticks.
Zoro might be from Wano, and that might be like his like a relative of some kind. Maybe not a father or like even a grandfather, maybe like an uncle or something. But like it's likely that Zoro's ultimately from the land of Wano and it was displaced somehow and ended up in the East Blue. But it wasn't explicit.
He's so lost. It would just be like, no, you don't understand. It's not the sword that gave him bad direction. He's just had shit direction forever. Forever. They told him to go left and he went right. And then went right the whole time and ended up on the wrong side of the world.
Also, they
imagine if he's already been in like the end area.
That could be funny.
And everyone shows up and they're like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, I've been here before." It's like, what? It's like, yeah, I climbed over those mountains. That's where I met you guys, on the other side of those mountains. And they're just like, that's impossible. What are you talking about?
That could be really funny, actually. Oh no. Oh man. Also, there was a great minor fight with one of Kid's subordinates, Killer, and one of the worst generation. He is a tarot reader, eater of the straw fruit. Basil Hawkins. And Basil Hawkins was part of the group that showed up to Wano with Kid initially to take on Kaido, and they lost. And he was one of the ones who decided to swear fealty to Kaido instead of dying or being imprisoned. And, you know, Killer, for that disloyalty, decides to visit revenge upon him. But one of the things that makes that fight difficult is that Basil Hawkins has the ability to take, like, basically create voodoo dolls of, like, various people that take damage for him. And he actually made one of Kid at some point and put it inside of his body.
Oh, okay.
And so, like, Killer was getting beat for a while because he couldn't find a way to damage Basil Hawkins without hurting Kid. And that was a problem for him. But then, he asks a very important question of Basil Hawkins, which is, what happens when the damage has nowhere to go? And he says, what? And then he cuts off Basil Hawkins' left arm. And I'm not sure if you remember, but Kid doesn't actually have a left arm. Like, he usually... he has like a nub there that he takes like metal and turns into a metal arm. And so like when he cuts off that arm, Kid wasn't hurt, but more importantly, the straw doll that was inside of him for Kid was actually in that left arm. And I guess like Basil forgot that.
Oh God.
And then like Killer was able to swing on him and win the fight, which was just so good. Absolutely incredible. Wonderful time. Also, I skipped over this. Momonosuke was transformed into an adult because he needed the abilities of a full-grown dragon to stop Onigashima, but he couldn't do that as a kid. So he uses one of Shinobu's abilities, the ripe fruit ability, to age him up to the age that he would be if he actually lived the 20 years instead of just going through like the 20-year time skip. And so he's a full adult man who's frantically trying to figure out his dragon powers, and ultimately finds a way to create the clouds and pull them back while Luffy's fighting against Kaido. And then he pulls the island out of the way at the crucial moment where Luffy's landing the killing blow. And then, you know, the Straw Hats emerge victorious. And then the Azakaya... Well, the remains of the Azakaya 9, I think there's like 8 of them now, because like Ashura is almost certainly dead, and so is Izo. Basically appear before the people of Wano at their festival, and telling them that Kaido has been defeated, the Kozuki shogunate has returned, water will be free again, the slave like factories will be shut down, and the people of Wano are free. And it was a great moment. Shout out to everyone involved.
Oh my God, what a time. One Piece is nuts.
Yeah. That's what you miss on One Piece. Now you can watch the current episodes if you've been keeping up with us without fear at all.
Yeah.
I think you have a good idea what's going on.
I have a great idea of what's going on. I've added it to my anime list since we're going to be watching it weekly going forward. And I'm just going to update it one episode at a time. And then I'll get to say I've watched all of One Piece, and then I won't have.
Oh my God. It's so good.
It's so good, but there's so much.
There's so much. Man, I do want you to see like some of like the animation, like obviously like you can pick and choose like what the stuff that you watch once you know what's going on. But like the big moments, like the King versus like Zoro fight was absolutely outrageous, like truly amazing to see. The character moments that we got out of Nami, out of Robin, out of Sanji were great. Ignis was so cool. Gear 5 was so sick. the introduction of Advanced Conqueror, Color the Conqueror. Kid in Law versus Big Mom was just so wild, and it was just like, okay, these two are fighting. This might be a good fight, and then it's like, oh, Big Mom knows their names now. They might be dead. Like, I think there was a day where I sent a message to Tegan of like the shot of like Big Mom like letting her aura out after she like said their names directly, and I acknowledge that she's like that these two are coming for her title as Emperor of the Sea, and it's just like this looks bad, right? Like they might be fucked, and
and I was like, it looks like they're fucked. Please let me know what happens. And then you just texted back like 2 hours later, good news, they're not fucked. And I said, great. And that's
like
it.
they did it. It was insane, but they did it.
Yep. You know what? That's how it is sometimes.
Oh my god. Yeah, I just got to it. They really pissed off Big Mom.
They really did.
Oh god. Some of these were a time. Jesus Christ. And also Gear 5 was 100% deserved. I was worried. Also, okay, so like there's another thing. So like Nika / Gear 5 / is also tied to a prophecy that was brought up way earlier in the series of Fishman Island called Joy Boy. And Joy Boy was another name for Nika at the time for obvious reasons. You know, they fight by having fun, and they always seem to be having fun, and they always seem to win. But like the white hair was supposed to be indicative of like Joy Boy, which is probably something that means something else. But the only other time that we've seen a character do that was back in Fishman Island, where Horty Jones, who's like arguably the most throwaway main villain of the series, basically who was a fishman who wanted to fight for fishman supremacy, but first wanted to conquer Fishman Island first by overthrowing the monarchy and then taking their fighting force up to land where they could bully humans and shit the same way that Arlong did. What they discovered that Arlong didn't have is that there was like a chemical cocktail that could be ingested in pill form that shortened their lifespan, but gave them this like white appearance with like a significant multiplier of their strength, like 10 times or whatever. But like they were, and that's when what's it called? Because Joy Boy is also talked about in the poneglyphs, specifically the poneglyph that is at Fishman Island, and it talked about like the return of Joy Boy, which would undo like the sins of the past, which seemed to refer to the world's government destroying this ancient technologically advanced nation and then reorganizing the world into what is now the world government and like the various islands that like are under its domain. And so like at the time, Horty Jones fancied himself as Joy Boy and like thought that the white hair appearance given by like the steroids that he was taking was what it was, but it's not. It turns out to be Luffy and the Nika and the human Nika fruit that has that appearance and seems to be fulfilling the prophecy. But Joy Boy was a name that was surfaced like something like 500 episodes ago. And so like we'll probably hear more of that as like the series continues.
Oh God, yeah. It sounds like it will be. God damn it.
Yeah, right.
I don't think regular people can watch One Piece. Unless One Piece like very specifically does tons of flashbacks all the time. I don't think regular people can watch One Piece.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way people are remembering this.
Yeah.
All the time, you know?
Yeah, not all the time, yeah. Oh man, I wish I don't think so, but like I also feel like there's a mention of like the drums of liberation at some point earlier in the story, but I don't know where they are. I do know that like the giant elephant that mentions it in that scene, the elephant of Zoe, is supposed to be one of like the world-ending powerful weapons, because there's supposed to be 3 powerful weapons that they've mentioned before: Neptune, Poseidon, and Pluton. We don't exactly know what Neptune is, but I'm pretty sure it has something to do with the elephant. But the elephant. So here's the thing. The elephant is supposed to answer. It was punished by Joy Boy or Nika in the past. And now it's not a free being. It's cursed to kind of wander the earth. But the Kozuki clan can hear its voice, which is why Odin and like Odin had like a relationship with like the minks who lived on it, and why Momo can hear its voice, but other people can't. And it's not limit, but it might be tied to Conqueror Haki users, but I don't remember if Zoro reacted to it at all. If I remember, but Zoro had Conqueror's Haki, presumably for a while. But Luffy apparently has the ability, now that he has unlocked the awakened fruit, to command the elephant. Because like also the elephant showed up when he was awakening, which was a big deal. And then the other two weapons, Poseidon, which we've already identified. Poseidon is actually Shirahoshi, the giant 20-foot tall pink mermaid that we met earlier in the story. And she is supposed to be able to command the Sea Kings, like the giant fish that, like, you know, ships are afraid of. She can command them like an army, apparently. And Pluton is a ship that has yet to have been built. But the blueprints existed, at least for some time, and Frankie was the steward of those blueprints. I don't believe he has them anymore, but I think he has them memorized. But he doesn't want to build it, but maybe someone will force him to build it. Maybe that's what Egghead will be about. I don't know for sure. But those things are going to come into focus, I'm pretty sure, as we approach what is supposed to be the conclusion of the story, according to Oda, and Oda hasn't really lied. So, like, I had to take that at face value.
Oda hasn't lied so far?
I don't think so. Like, anything they said publicly turned out to be true.
He's got to be lying about something.
You're going to look for it? I'm so excited.
That's impossible. It's impossible to have this show going on this long and not have lied about anything.
Hold on. I'm going to just Google it real quick. Has Oda ever lied?
Has Oda ever lied? Question mark?
Okay, wait. Have there been times when Oda has lied in the SBS section to misdirect fans from the truth? I've heard this, but are there examples? Okay, so there's one where it says he talks about giving Luffy the Gomu Gomu when in reality he had the Hito Hito. But that's lying about what the devil fruit was. And
yeah, that's not the same.
That's not the same. Government psyop, so I don't think that's it. He apparently he's like danced around answers with a joke, but he hasn't like straight up lied. Not yet, turns out.
Oh God.
Imagine running a manga for 25 years, people ask questions, he hasn't lied once. Crazy. Insane, actually. God, I forgot Blackbeard's out there somewhere.
Somewhere?
Blackbeard has 2 whole ass devil fruit powers.
Blackbeard's waiting on the island. Blackbeard is the thing guarding the One Piece.
He can't get there. He doesn't have the poneglyphs. Actually,
he's on an island. He just can't navigate it. He's waiting for someone to show up who can read the poneglyphs.
I've actually heard that what's it called? Shanks is the closest to finding the One Piece.
Oh.
At least currently in the manga. I think something else happens. I don't know what, but like,
okay.
Apparently Shanks is the closest. Also, the guy, Hawkeye, Mihawk, who is the world's greatest swordsman, is also poised to fight Shanks in a little bit, apparently.
Okay.
But also, because, the warlords are no more, the warlords have been abolished. Oh, I didn't mention that. Yeah, in these past episodes, during the World Summit, it's been announced, or during the Reverie, it's been announced that the world government unanimously voted to remove the warlords of the sea system from the Navy because of what happened in Alabasta and Dressrosa. That like 2 pirates basically overthrew kings and like stole nations under the carte blanche that the Navy gave them, and that's not cool. So they decided no more warlords. And so like the ones that were defeated are already defeated. Can't do anything about that. But the other ones that are out there are being hunted, which means that like Boa Hancock has like now like a Navy battalion at her door at Amazon Lily. and on like the island that basically Mihawk lives on by himself. I guess Perona lives there technically. Is also being attacked by the Navy, but like Mihawk escapes that. And I've seen the manga panel, and you know what, Tegan? I'm gonna give you this one. I want you to guess where you think they place Mihawk's bounty. Like how high?
I'm gonna say he's below Nami.
Okay.
But
So
above Chopper.
okay, well, Chopper's like 50.
Yeah, Chopper's like a baby. Chopper's
And
like a little baby.
Nami, I think, crossed 1 million recently.
Mm-hmm.
But no, Mihawk's bounty was set at 31 billion berries.
Billion with a B.
Yes, they want this man dead. They want him gone.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And like that's one of the things that's going on in the current stuff.
This sounds awful.
Yeah, right? Oh man.
That's a huge bounty. How are no one's what on earth? all of this is Luffy's fault.
Kinda, yeah. I mean, Luffy did overthrow those guys, but like, you know, they were committing crimes. They did overthrow some monarchies.
Okay, yeah, they did overthrow some monarchies and that sort of. I get it, but like that could have been handled at any time. Mm-hmm. The only reason it's being acted upon is because Luffy beat 2 of them.
Right. Yes, that is true.
So, how high is Luffy's bounty now?
Luffy, I think. I don't remember the exact number post like Kaido, but like he was at 1.5 going into Wano, and I think he goes up to like 4 billion or so.
That's not enough.
Yeah,
it could be higher for messing up everything else.
Yeah, but right? Yeah, probably. But like, however scared they are of Luffy and the Nika fruit and everything, you know, government psyop and all, they are way more afraid of Mihawk for some reason.
Why? Mihawk doesn't seem that spooky at this point.
I don't know. Like, considering what Zoro is at this point, and like, Mihawk is likely still significantly stronger than him, swordsmen probably have like a really high ceiling in this universe, and I can't wait to see it. Because, like, I mean, we've seen all sorts of sword feats overall so far. Like, I mean, he has like the beam sword ability and everything, but also he can just casually cut Navy ships in half. Like, Mihawk can just do that whenever he wants.
Super casually, just like, it's fine.
And not even like, you know, Luffy who like inflates his arm and like calls out of his attack and jumps into the air or whatever. Also, Mihawk is not a devil fruit user, you know? So like, it's not even like they can drown him or anything. Like, he can just hang out. And apparently
I forgot he's not a devil fruit user.
Yeah.
Like I forgot he doesn't have any weird, funky, cool powers the way everyone else does.
Yeah, he's just a swordsman, and he's really sick with it.
So when does Mihawk join the crew?
The Straw Hats? Who knows?
Right?
I don't know. Could be sick, though. Okay, but yeah, we've been talking about One Piece. I mean, One Piece is big. Like, I don't want to undersell it. Again, it is probably one of the best stories ever told. But like, we were watching other stuff.
Yeah, we've been watching other stuff. We are also watching another one of the best stories ever told, I think. You don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm talking about Frieren.
Yeah.
Frieren Beyond Journey's End takes place at the end of the adventure. It's taken 10 years. The squad has defeated the Demon King. And that's where our story picks up. 10 years afterwards, we follow Frieren, who is an elf. She's essentially, in the eyes of her friends, going to live forever. She's already lived over 1,000 years.
Right.
It was a short 10-year adventure. And she's going to see everybody in 50 years. We'll meet up later. Peace. And she dips, right? Like literally the morning following everyone's celebration group. And then her human friend dies 70 years later.
Yep.
He just died. He gets old and he gets small and he dies. And that's it. And then she's sad, actually. It turns out that short 10-year journey, it ended up being very important. And she didn't realize how important it was until he died, which is wild. What a great way to start a story. And now she's doing the adventure in reverse, where she started at the end town where they left, where they wrapped everything up, and she's going all the way back through the journey. But she's, she's meeting she's checking in with her old, her remaining 2 party members, another one who is a human and one who is a dwarf, and therefore much longer lived than their 2 human companions. And she's just learning about how important it is to spend time with people while they're there.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
Oh, it's so sad. It's such a good, I think this anime is so good because it happened. It's being released after like the pandemic. And that's not to say like the pandemic is over by any means, but like the major global event isn't being treated the way that it was 3 years ago.
That's true.
And I think this story is more impactful because of that.
Okay.
I
hear that.
Because like I genuinely up until like 2020, I was going to live forever. I was just going to live forever. It's fine. I was going to be around all these people all the time, and it was going to be fine. There was plenty of time all the time to see my friends. And like that, I think changed for a lot of people when the pandemic happened, that like, oh no, I don't have forever to see my friends. I have to make a pointed effort to see them more often,
Right. Yeah.
And that's what makes it good.
I hear that. Especially since she's like, kind of, I don't want to say wrestling with this loss, because that's not the right word. It's more that like she's trying to remember him through her journey, but also like not really talk about it. And she's like, at least it's, I think, a healthy mix between I'm not sure how I feel about this journey overall, but also, it's none of your business, so I'm not going to talk to you about it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, she is definitely like coming back to these places and experiencing them both differently as someone who has returned and differently as someone who has seen the last 100 years, like who knew what they were before and is seeing what they are after. And also as the person who is introducing this place to a new person, like she's looking at these through all 3 of those lenses simultaneously. And so we don't get to see a lot of her, like, we don't get her internal monologue about how she feels about these things. We only see the actions she does to the people around her, And those are the things that I think tell more about her experience than any internal monologue could do,
I hear that. Yeah.
It makes it better.
I think it's a much better, like, creative choice.
I like it. It's so good. We're only the first episode was actually 4 episodes.
Right.
And the total episode time of this is going to be 24 episodes.
Okay.
So we have officially watched 5 episodes of the show. And every single one has been great. They're all quiet though. Like this isn't like a big bombastic, this isn't a Jujutsu Kaisen, this isn't a One Piece, this isn't a Demon Slayer or whatever. This is like a quiet, contemplative, slow anime that gives its characters the needed space. And I like that. I like it a lot. Not every anime needs to be that. This anime does and understands that about itself and is doing it.
They're really swinging on it.
They really are. The animation budget is 100%. But it's 100% on like the little things,
I really love the way, because like, when they do like big magical things, they're doing big magical things. And we're going to get like definitely like an action sequence this week because
Mhm.
I've been building to it. But I really like the where like she had to go deal with like a like mage that they like sealed like 80 years ago because they weren't strong enough to beat him at the time.
Mhm.
And like they're gonna unlock him, and he's gonna be, you know, the same that he was back then, just like matter. But the funny thing about it is that like, oh yeah, but she's had 80 years to train. That's why she's better. But that's not why she's better. The reason she's better is because the world has had 80 years to learn about his magic, and they basically like outgrew what his like big innovation was. It'd be like the equivalent of like someone in World War One, like with like a pistol, and then like showing up in like 2018, and like they have to fight people with like riot shields and like rocket launchers. Like it's like holy shit! Like the world grew around you that you're now obsolete. That your incredible like lightning attack is now just offensive magic.
Yeah.
That was very cool.
That was so cool. It was just like this big spell, blah 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 blah. And she's like teaching it to her little apprentice, you know? And then she's like, this is how like you have to learn how to protect against this spell. And it feels like a very normal lesson. And then it's when they go to fight it, and her apprentice goes, "This is normal offensive magic." She's like, "Exactly." Now it is normal offensive magic. 100 years ago, this was brand new, and that's just wild to me. God, it was good. That was such a good moment. But like the way it was delivered was also so good. Watch a show. This show, I want it to be, I wish it didn't have an OP and an ED, and it was just one long, however long 24 episodes is, just one long movie. I'd watch the whole thing. Lord of the Rings director's cut thing, you know?
We can recut it. Why not? We'll do it one of these days. Who cares?
We'll recut it, we'll upload it on YouTube. God. Oh God. So good.
Oh, man. All right. So, Teagues, am I doing Castlevania, or you're going to do Sugar Apple Fairy Tale?
You do Castlevania, because Castlevania has some bullshit in it that's good, and then I'll do Sugar Apple Fairy Tale, which also has some bullshit in it.
But it's not good? We'll come back to that.
Statement end. We'll get there.
Okay. So, in anticipation of Castlevania Nocturne, I actually rewatched the Castlevania series on Netflix. And it's still a masterpiece. I think there are definitely a lot of things that people thought about, especially people who are huge fans of the games, because it doesn't follow that story. I think it follows a much more interesting story. I'm sure you know, Teagues. Castlevania starts with like Vladimir Tepes takes a human wife, and she implores him to travel the world or whatever. The church finds out that this woman suddenly has all this technology and she's healing people. She must be a witch. And they decided she's a witch. And it's like, she's not a witch. She's just married to Dracula. And like Dracula knows things. But they kill her anyways. They kill that Dracula's wife. And then Dracula finds out. He's in a rage. But he's just like, my wife loved humans. I'm not going to lose my cool. It's fine. So I'm going to tell you guys, y'all have a year to pick a god, make your arrangements, or get the fuck out of here, because I'm going to burn this place to the ground in a year. That's what he said. From like, not like walking into the town, but like as a giant spooky like sky like projection.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Sure.
Like he put his face in the sky and told them this shit, and then he disappeared. You know what they did a year later on the anniversary of her death, Tegan?
Left?
No. They held a festival.
Oh, fuck off. They did not.
They did. And the Pope was giving a speech on like the stairs of the cathedral, touting God watching over them and the reason why they survived. And then the sky turned to blood and it started raining, Tegan. And then demons started showing up and ripping everyone apart. And then there was a bishop in a church, and the demons just kind of walked in, and he's just like, why are you calling out to God? God's not here. He's not going to protect you. And he killed that clown.
No.
You know, and in the city where the largest city that happened in, where they burned her at the stake, Targoviste, was absolutely destroyed. And then, meanwhile, what's it called? Dracula was like planning, basically the human genocide. He was going to wipe humans off the face of the earth, and he assembled a court of vampires and his two trusted human necromancer companions, to orchestrate the decimation of the human race. That's what he wanted to do. And meanwhile, like, there is a vampire hunter, the last of the Belmonts, because apparently about 100 years before the events of the story, the church turned their back on the Belmonts and then had them systematically killed. And so when Dracula showed up, they had no defense. They weren't ready. But this one guy who is like, a wandering, bumbling drunk, but spent like maybe the first like 15 years of his life learning to be a world-class single-man army monster hunter, ends up in Targovishte, meets a caster Sypha, and they become friends. And they travel the world, and then they come across basically the resting place of Alucard, who's the son of Dracula, who had a falling out with his father once his father realized he wanted to destroy the world, and he realized that his mother wouldn't want that, ended up losing the fight and coming here to rest. And so they make a plan to go kill Dracula, and Dracula's making his plan to destroy the world. And then a bunch of other things happen. The court turns on Dracula because they'd rather have humans in feeding pens rather than destroying them outright. And the trio ends up sort of killing Dracula. Dracula kind of gives himself over to death, to be honest. And then, like, at the end of season 2, there's no Dracula. So how's there Castlevania with no Dracula? And then, it focuses on, like, the remainder of the court and, like, the coven that wants to try to take over the space that Dracula now left. And, like, Sypha and Trevor Belmont travel the world, going on adventures, fighting monsters and stuff. And then Alucard just tries to imagine a world where he lives as, like, a person with no mother and no father. No Dracula, no human mother. How do I take the gifts of the Belmonts and Dracula or Tepish's work and use it to make a better world? And they spend a season doing that. And then they uncover a plot to try to resurrect Dracula from the dead. And then they have to deal with that. And then, there's a huge confrontation with evil. Trevor Belmont looks like he dies, but turns out he didn't. And everyone somehow gets a happy ending. And it's really wild. But they all pay for it, I think. And it's so good. They rescue, there's a lot of, like, disregard for, like, humanity throughout the story. Like they'll have humans just, like, horrifically killed on screen. And, like, for a while I thought it was like, oh, they're just, like, gorehounds or whatever. But it's really to kind of, like, make people reckon with, like, if humans aren't the most important thing here, what is important? And what value does humanity have in this, like, situation? And they really wanted people to reckon with that. And I think they came up with some good answers, ultimately. Like, the two human companions, Hector and Isaac, are necromancers who have been mistreated by humanity and have fully turned their back on them to the point that they're willing to support the genocide of humanity that would ultimately end in their deaths. Ironically, throughout their journeys, like, they go in very different directions. They run into their own struggles. They both claim the power that they've had before, even without Dracula, and then they find reasons to live. They find meaningful ways to be in and contribute to the worlds that surround them. They find value in, like, the world itself and even in humanity in small bursts. Isaac more so than Hector, which is actually the bigger feat. And it's a very compelling series. I think everyone that has Netflix should give it a shot, honestly. And, the reason I watched it is because there's a spinoff happening right now, Castlevania Nocturne, which, like, is supposed to be about the Castlevania story with, like, Richter Belmont during the French Revolution, about the most famous setting in the Castlevania universe, which is the one in Symphony of the Night. And it does look like they're also going in a very different direction. They want to tell a different story, but it still looks very good. Like, production value is great. The character writing is very strong, and I'm interested in the future of these characters and what they end up doing. And there's 8 episodes. So they're all out if you really want to watch them. But we're taking it slow because we're watching it during Anime Week or Anime Sundays. And so, like, since we're watching it an episode at a time, if you want to, take your time and catch up with us, we'll be around on Discord.
It's good for October too, I think.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Sugar Apple Fairy Tale is stupid.
Okay.
Positive affectionate.
Let's do it.
We don't see it. Remember, this is one of those anime where like, the age gap's fine. We just pretend it doesn't exist.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
She's 15 now.
Okay.
Very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So I last left off the everything had gone bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was a kid who a little boy fairy who wasn't eating, who had been quote unquote haunting the castle that everyone was staying in, and all of the sugar had been spoiled. Or not spoiled, but like hardened because moisture got in, and they were never going to make it in time for the New Year's festival. And then the company that she worked for, the school of sugar artisans, was going to go under, and it was going to be a huge disaster. Right?
Right.
It got worse.
I'm down. Tell me more.
In the midst of all of that, there are also reports, and this happened before on the way here, remember, but they're bringing back up the reports that there's a fairy that is attacking caravans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Problem that they bring that up again, because the Sugar Viscount is still following up on that. In the midst of also figuring out how to help Anne and also figuring out how to do everything else. And she made like the crust so that this kid would eat it. And so all that happened.
Okay.
So the Sugar Viscount takes her aside and goes like, hey, that was like really illegal, actually. You can't do that. And she goes, well, if I didn't, he wasn't going to eat anything. And he goes, yeah, no, I get that, because I also made one, but then I destroyed it immediately because it's illegal to make it. Don't do that again. And she was like, I mean, okay, but he ate, so obviously I did the right thing. And he's like, God, you're such a 15-year-old. So they go and they get Cat. She gets his favor to Cat, the other famous artisan. They go get him. He comes back.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of gives him the rundown. Here's all the stuff that's been going on only with the confection part, not with anything else. We need to, and so he starts helping her make these sugar confections.
Okay.
Positive, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Opal Fairy just like ditches for a while, and now he's back. What was he doing in the meantime? No idea.
Okay.
But now he's back in the picture, and it turns out he has not the name he told us before, which was, I don't remember. It was stupid. I remember it's like like Glacier or something. It was some stupid name. Anyway, it doesn't matter because that's not his name. His name is a stupid fairy name.
Okay.
It's Lafel Fen Lafel.
Okay.
Does that sound like anyone else's name? No, because I don't use anyone else's name to describe this fucking show. Okay? Our main character's fairy, his name is Shan Fel Shan, right?
Yeah.
They're the same. They have the same name structure, right? And it's not apparently because they're both fucking precious stone fairies, which would have made sense for me, but no, it's because they're both fairies made from the same different materials in the same thing, which was a sword. And it turns out that sword used to belong to the Fairy King.
Oh, sure. Yeah, let's do it.
Do you remember the Fairy King that I talked about near the end of the first season when she was like, I don't know what to make this year for the sugar contest. And she ended up making the rose with the fairy thing, right? Okay. Yeah. So now we're back talking about the Fairy King legend and how he wanted to find a way to live peacefully, humans and fairies, because his best friend was the human king and he was the fairy king, and then they couldn't do it, so they went to war. right? That happened. We're reminded again that happened because so much stuff just keeps happening in this show. It gets worse.
Okay.
He starts acting. The Opal Fairy starts getting really Fen-Lefel starts acting really pissy. He's mad that Champfel doesn't want to hang out with him. He's like, no, we are the same. We are supposed to be the next fairy king, one of us, obviously. And he's like, I don't give a shit about this, actually. I'm fine where I am, thanks. And he's like, you are cool serving humans? And he's like, yeah, I don't care. I'm not serving her. She's my friend and I have my own wing. So like, get got. And the Opal Fairy is like, I hate this, actually. Time to execute my plan. And it turns out the Opal Fairy is actually the Red String Fairy that's doing the crimes.
Doing the crimes?
He's doing the crime. He's murdering people and he's attacking caravans, right?
Oh my God, okay.
And we find this out because he starts getting all like creepy. And I mean like creepy. Like he did the like sniffing, the like hair sniffing thing and stuff. Like he's that's like the creepy tell is like if someone is smelling someone else's hair and they don't like it, that's how you know it's creepy and not a positive thing. Okay. So the daughter of the guy who owns this sugar school, she's like, stop being weird, like you have to listen to me. And he's like, no, I don't have to listen to you because I'm better than you, the Opal Fairy. And she's like, no, you're not. And she does the thing that she's supposed to do, which is she takes the bag that has his wing in it, allegedly, and she crushes it. And he doesn't react at all. And she's like, why isn't this working? And like squeezes it harder and nothing happens. And he's like, I'm sure whatever fairy that wing belongs to is in a lot of pain right now. Bye. Right? Horrifying. He's just like, yeah, see ya. A nightmare. Absolute garbage. He's so bad. And then, right, he starts being extra creepy. He attacks the sugar artisans. The stiff guy who's like is very good at sculpting, but only wanted to make things that he wanted to make and not things that the customer would actually want. He loses an eye. He is attacked. He loses an eye. It's a whole thing. The Opal Fairy is pissed that Champfel won't hang out with him. So he says, I'm going to kidnap Anne. And Champfel's like, no, you're not. And he's like, yeah, I am. And actually I already did. And it turns out he's like surrounded her with his little strings. And he's like, I will simply tighten these and her head and her hands will pop off.
Oh my God.
Unless you get on this horse and come with me, bestie. And Champfel's like, I hate this. And then they leave.
Yeah, perfect. All right, cool. Sure.
Everybody leaves together. The Opal Fairy takes them to this abandoned castle. Why are there so many abandoned castles? The world will never know. It's full of other fairies. It's all fairies. And he brought her back to be a sugar artisan. And he delivers her a barrel of sugar that's got blood splashed on the side of it. And is like, make us sugar confections. Make them for me as the new king of the fairies. And she's like, I don't want to. And he's like, well, I will simply go back and I'll get another sugar artisan then. And I'll just torture one of them until they make me something. And she's like, fine, I'll make you things. And they all are ugly and he hates it. And he's like, why are you making me shit? And she's like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I'm making you things. He's like, I don't like these things though. They're trash and they do not befit me, a king. Make me better things. And she's like, okay. And then she doesn't really try. She's just like, I don't know why these are turning out so bad. It could be all the stress. It could be the fact that it's the middle of winter and I'm in a summer dress and I'm sleeping on the floor in a stone castle, maybe. It could be a number of things. It could be the stress. It could be the threat on my life, but it's fine. We're not going to worry about it. Meanwhile, the Opal Fairy and several of the other fairies and Champfel are going into town and like robbing sugar artisans and like murdering them and then leaving with all the sugar because they need it because they get injured and then the only food they can eat that will allow them to heal themselves is the silver sugar, right? And it works better if it's made into little sugar sculptures, and she's supposedly the best one. And duh. Anyway, plot. So some of the she goes down to like the central area while they're out, and she's like, all these fairies, you shouldn't, why are you all missing your wings? It turns out in season 1, she made a little blueberry fairy show up, a cute little fairy, right? Little plant fairy. They live for about a year, apparently. But she was really cute, and she was like, oh, you're here. Hi, Anne. You're the one who made me. And she's like, hi, where's your wing? And she's like, oh, I gave it to the opal fairy. And she was like, why'd you do that? And she goes, well, because he's our king, and naturally we should show our loyalty to him by giving him our wings, right?
Oh my God.
And she's like, no, you shouldn't. What?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, what? Is that bad? Why are you sad about it? And she's like, you're trading one master for another. Like, what? Don't you understand? That's awful. And she's like, no, it's fine. Haha. Why are you sad? It's so sad, actually. And then Anne finds out that a bunch of the fairies are injured and sick, and so she makes them sugar sculptures so that they'll feel better. And she makes these beautiful creations we see. Like, she makes a butterfly and a cat and a rose, and but they're smaller, they're smaller things so that like more people can have some. And they start getting better. And the other fairies are like, oh, you're like nice to us. And she's like, well, yeah, like you're not doing anything bad. And also you guys are being injured, and that's not cool. Like, we should be friends. And also the king shouldn't hold your wings. That's weird and like bad. And they're like, he's not that bad. And then immediately he comes in and he's like, hey, how come they get good stuff and I don't? I'm the king. And she's like, they're sick and they're being nice to me. And he's like, well, you're going to make me something or I'm going to do a murder on you. And he basically like takes her away and like throws her essentially in like a cold locked room. Is awful. And they're like, oh, he's really mean to her and she's been nice to us. That's weird, right? That's not good. Okay, we agree that's not good now. It's so dumb. While all of this is happening, at some point before she got kidnapped again, also, this is somewhat important, but not really important. She ran into Jonas, who was getting drunk in town. Jonas, who we were like, oh, it's her childhood friend and her rival and blah, blah, blah. And he turned out to be a dick. She ran into him getting drunk in an alleyway in town. And he was like, I quit working at the sugar school. Everything sucks and I don't want to make sugar confections anymore. And she's like, that's bullshit. Are you just sad because like you feel bad that your school was shitty to me? Because like I'm thriving actually and you should come work for me instead. And he does. He goes and works for her. And so when they find out, when the whole school realizes somehow that she's been kidnapped like days later, everybody's like, well, what do we do? What do we do about it? And they're like, nothing. We work. And it's like, what do you mean you work? And they're like, if she comes back, when she comes back, not if, when she comes back, if we did not do work on these things while she was gone, she will be pissed. She's not thinking about her safety. She's thinking about this work. So we're going to do the work. So when she comes back, she's impressed and she could just take the time she needs to like recover, right? And like process her trauma, because we can't do anything. We're artisans. We're not soldiers. We told the king about it. The Sugar Viscount and the king are looking for her. Like they have an army with her. There is literally nothing we can do except finish this work so it's done on time. And everyone's like, yeah, okay. I guess we will do that. So all the artisans just work. They're like, the crisis is happening. Time to clock in for my shift.
Oh, God. All right. Well, that's goofy, Teagues.
Right. It's so... Oh, we're not done yet.
Yeah, let's go. Come on.
Eventually, right, the opal fairy back to the Opal Fairy. He goes too far. He's like, I'm gonna fucking kill her. I'm gonna kill her. This sucks. Shaw won't hang out with me anymore. He doesn't want to rule the world with me. He doesn't want to compete to be king with me. He just wants to hang out with this girl. And so this girl has to die. So I'm gonna kill her. And he goes to kill her. And Jean-Michel Shaw shows up and he's like, absolutely not. You said she wouldn't be hurt, and I'm doing everything you want me to do, including maybe murdering people, but we don't show that on screen, so it's nebulous as to whether or not I'm actually doing anything evil. But I did everything you want, and you said she wasn't gonna get hurt, and he was like, fine, and he takes Jean-Michel wing out because he takes everybody's wing and he crushes it in his hand, and so Jean-Michel like collapses to the ground, and he's like suffering. And it's like, what? No, what can I do? And he's like, leave. You can leave because you right now are a problem. And she's like, okay, and leaves. She like runs into the hallway.
Okay.
Runs into the group of fairies that she's been like nursing back to health with her sugar confections and goes like, hey guys, Jean-Michel's in a lot of trouble. That Opal Fairy is gonna kill him. We need to do something. And they're like, but he's our king? And she's like, yeah, but he sucks. And also he's going to kill my boyfriend. Can we do something about that? And they were like, yeah, maybe we can do something about that. So they pretend to have captured her. They bring her back. Jean-Michel freaks out. The little tiny plant fairy uses like hid kind of like behind Anne, uses her as a springboard, jumps into the Opal Fairy's shirt, grabs the wing, jumps out of it, gives it back to Jean-Michel. Jean-Michel tucks it away, and then him and the Opal Fairy proceed to fucking go for it. They are fighting. They're fighting each other really good. It's a good sword fight with like, it's essentially like garrote wire versus sword.
Jesus, okay.
Magic garrote wire versus sword. That's what's going on. They like destroy this chapel that they're fighting in because of course there's a chapel attached to the fucking castle itself. They end up going to the roof. And then when they get to the roof, they see the king's army approaching, right? And it's like, oh, the jig is up, actually. How did they find me? And Jean-Michel is like, I showed them how to get here. And basically, and then we cut back and we see that the last time that they maybe did a murder, but we aren't talking about whether or not they did a murder, in one of the barrels of sugar that they stole, Jean-Michel did a big stab in it so it would leak sugar dust. And that's how they tracked them back to this castle. And the Opal Fairy's like, oh, well, this sucks. You don't want to be king? And he's like, no. And he's like, well, one of us is going to be king because apparently there's been nobody has like shown up from the third stone. So like, and I guess I can't be king because they're going to murder me. So like, and then he stands on the edge of the building and like falls off it. Right? He does that thing where like he's just like leans back and it goes boom, and he's gone.
Right.
And Jean-Michel runs over and looks, and there's nothing, no body, no nothing, just a bunch of trees. And he's like, okay, weird. We're not going to address that. He had everybody else's wing up allegedly, but that doesn't matter because he didn't have them on him. He only had Jean-Michel's wing on him. It turns out he had everybody else's in a little box that he kept in his quarters somewhere, wherever that was, because fairies don't need to sleep or whatever.
Sure.
And Jean-Michel brings it out, and everybody's like, oh my God, the king's army, they're going to arrest us, and they're absolutely going to kill us. We're going to be in so much trouble, actually, for everything that we did. And our king isn't even here to help us. And Jean-Michel is like, that's fine. Here's your wings. Go out the back door. Nobody's over there. It'll be fine. Anne and I will handle this. And they're like, what do you mean, Anne, and you will handle this? And he's like, don't worry about it. Just go. And this big warrior fairy and this little tiny, or like, I guess he's not a warrior fairy. He's like, it'd be like when a farmer put on a suit, of armor. He's like a burly dude, but like, he's not really like built for combat.
Okay.
He's like, I want to see the ocean. And the little tiny plant fairy's like, I also want to see the ocean. Can we go together? And he's like, yeah. And they leave together. And Anne's like, is she going to see the ocean? And he's like, and Jean-Pascal is like, well, plant fairies live for like a year. They should see the ocean. It's only about New Year's. And you know, made her show up last summer. So like, yeah, I think they'll see the ocean.
Mm.
And then everything is fine. And like, they're rescued, quote unquote, by the Sugar Viscount.
Mm-hmm.
And none of the other fairies are caught or tried. And we don't see the Opal Fairy again. And they go back to the workshop. And it turns out everybody stress worked so hard because they were worried about Anne that they finished all of the sugar sculptures with like 10 days to go. And she's so happy that everybody is doing well. And then it turns out that the girl who was supposed to marry the guy who looks like Felix Fire Emblem but isn't Felix Fire Emblem,
Okay.
She's like, I told my dad I don't want to marry him anymore and I want to marry somebody else. And Anna's like, oh, that's so good. What'd your dad say? And she's like, my dad said it was fine. He's just going to adopt Felix. So he'll be like my adopted stepbrother. And
Sure.
like, I'm going to marry somebody else and it'll be fine because he'll have his heir and I won't have to deal with this anymore. I can do what I want.
Okay.
And Anne's like, sounds like a win. And she's like, yeah. And then she's definitely flirting with the guy who lost his eyeball.
Oh.
She's like, she nursed him back to health and like they created a bond. Now she's so it's like, who is that samurai in Fire Emblem Three Houses who was like, it was him and Felix were like sword buddies, you know, and they were totally not gay together, but they were definitely gay together. That's the same dynamic with the same color palettes going on.
Okay.
But Anne, their childhood friend, instead of going with Felix, is going with Samurai Boy. That's what happened there. And then they go to New Year's and they set up all the things early and they build a really, 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 really extra tall, big, super cool, tall, big sugar sculpture in the middle of the thing. They decide to do all the work on it there because they're like, we have 3 extra days. We may as well, and the sugar to do it. We may as well. And so they just do that the night before New Year's. And then everybody loves the sugar. All the people love the sugar sculptures for New Year's. You get to see people milling around and them all lit up in the candles and all that stuff and like glowing with magic light and stuff. And it's so pretty. And she's like, I hope everybody has a good New Year. And her and Jean-Pascal promise essentially to like be together forever. He's like, I'm going to follow you forever. And she's like, don't do that because I am a human and I live a notoriously short life cycle. So you should you can stay with me for as long as I'm alive. But afterwards, I think you should go and find, you know, your own happiness, and maybe like you should date a fairy because like they will live as long as you will, you know, like find something else that makes you happy. Please don't just hang out around my dead body. That'd be weird. And he's like, yeah, I guess like the meaning of forever is, well, don't worry about it. And then they hold hands.
Okay.
And that's the end of the show.
Oh my God.
Wasn't that stupid? It was great. I had a fun time from start to finish. It was nonsense. Absolute. The stakes have never been lower and then suddenly have never been higher
my
for
God.
no reason.
So you don't know if there's going to get a season 3, but if there is, there's going to be a third stone dude to show up, I guess?
Probably, yeah. Or maybe a lady. You never know. Could be a
Let's do
lady. But yeah, maybe a third stone. Apparently more stuff like the light novel and the manga are still ongoing.
Okay.
The story isn't done yet. And the anime did not catch up to what is happening in the light novel or the manga. So who knows? Maybe there will be more. If it ends here, that's okay. If they did more, that's also okay. But like, we really need to control the pacing of the extremes of like the world is in danger. Actually, nothing matters. Only my checkbook is in danger. You know, like we need to balance. There needs to be a little bit of a better balance there, I think, because it's like the stakes have never been lower for like 19 episodes. And then it's like, actually, the stakes have never been higher and we need to resolve it in 5.
Yeah, that seems a little unfair, actually.
But it was really fun the whole time. Okay. Everybody's name is nonsense. Every the way that they do, I said this when I first started watching the show, but like
Mhm.
all of the sugar sculptures are CG and the
Mhm.
rest of it is regular animation.
Mhm.
And that feels right because they're adding like an additional magical element to the sugar sculptures to make them seem like to really emphasize that they are like better than real life in
Okay.
the context of the show.
Right.
But like the whole show is nonsense. It's a great time.
All right.
I have no complaints. I have many complaints. All of them are affecting it. So, like, this isn't like when I was tearing into Berserk of Gluttony earlier and I was like, everything is disappointing and everything will cry.
Yeah, these are more like nitpicks.
Yeah, this is like, honestly, this show is dumb. Affectionate, positive. I'm so glad I watched it. It was worth it. It was worth every minute with it. I would watch it. I wouldn't watch it again. I don't think. I might do like a rewatch, like if it's been a while before a third season comes out. But like nothing happens. Everything happens. Nothing happens. It's fine. Don't sweat it too much. Don't think about it too hard. It's good.
For sure.
I think that more anime need to embrace that, you know? Like living in a space where like actually none of this matters and it's just a cotton candy kind of anime, you know, without being just trash.
Yeah.
You know? Like a lot of anime, I feel like the studios before the animation even starts give up on it, you know?
Yeah.
But these guys went like, no, this is a love story. We're going to treat it like it's a good, solid love story. We're going to make sure that the fantastical elements are truly fantastical and that the human elements are truly human. And then we're just going to let the nonsense carry the show. And it worked.
Okay. Yeah, no, I hear that. I mean, low stakes nonsense is generally a good time. All right. Teeks, I'm not going to do the Black Clover postmortem. I'm going to do it next month.
Okay, that seems fair.
Yeah.
We'll do it at the end of fall when everything else is dying.
Yeah, that makes sense. We'll have some space.
We'll bury it in the night. It'll be fine.
Poor thing. Well, I mean, I still don't read the manga. Maybe the manga. Oh, actually, you know, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, there's things going with the manga. I'm pretty sure Black Clover's actually dead.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Like they moved from Shonen Jump because they're not doing weeklies anymore, and they moved to a different publication where they will do like one chapter a month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's unclear whether or not they'll animate like the remainder of the story after like the movie on Netflix. Like, there's literally no news on it. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure by next month we'll have a definitive yes or no.
True.
On whether or not it's a slow life support induced death or a regular like, all right, we're done.
Yeah. God, I love that show. It's okay. I'll talk about that later. But I think other than that, that's everything. I didn't miss anything, right? I've been staring at this list for a while.
Yeah, no, that's everything.
Okay.
Tune in next week where we talk about, or next month.
Mm-hmm.
Next month where we talk about the fall anime more.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll let you know if any of these have made it the month. Because several of these are in our probationary period.
Right.
We're going to know in 2 weeks whether or not some of these stay. Maybe we'll have new anime to talk about. Because we'll replace some stuff. Who knows?
I mean, by the time we do the next one, like Pluto will be out. So
yeah, Pluto will be out, and Apothecary Diaries will be out. Both of which I'm definitely looking forward to. I think both of which are on Netflix. How Dare Illegal? Rude to Me specifically, because they're both going to be good.
I hear that. Can't wait for the fan cams.
Oh my god, the Pluto fan cams are going to be nuts.
Okay. But yeah, this has been the anime episode.
If you're here, you're a Patreon member, or maybe this is in the general feed and you want to know how the rest of 2023's anime has gone. In which case, you could consider joining our Patreon. We thank you for your continued support during these trying times.
Yeah, that's what's up. And, you know, there's music beginning and end of this, made by Big Sach. Find him on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com, patreon.com/big/NJ. His band's also on Bandcamp. Betweenrooms.bandcamp.com. Our logo is also a t-shirt. It was designed by Lauren Moran. You can find her on Twitter at Lauren Moran and probably other places, but she has a Patreon and she does really good shit. So check her out there. And we, we do a normal podcast about video games. I say a normal podcast. Our podcast is not normal. It's a genetic freak, to be honest, and it's not normal. But we do a podcast that is largely about video games, but mostly just about the stuff that we care about. Then we do these anime episodes so that it doesn't. So our 2.5-hour episodes will turn into 5-hour episodes, honestly. And we're also on Twitch. You can find us at twitch.tv/ImpossibleCoin, where we play a lot of video games. And maybe we'll do other stuff too. I don't know. I've been thinking about it a little bit. But, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think, at least for the anime episode, I think that's us. I think we're on social media. You can find us there. It's not that hard. It's all Impossible Coin. No dashes, underscores, anything like that. We are now on Blue Sky. There are no imposters. It's actually us on Blue Sky. Don't worry about it.
Yep,
but
it's true.
If you want to add us or talk to us about stuff, we'll be there. We promise.
That's us.
Mm-hmm.
That's this show.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoy our anime recommendations.
Yer. See, because there's not going to be a piece. We gotta do the next thing.
Oh yeah, that's right. I gotta bye. See you later.
Thank you for podcast.